All right. Greetings, gentle beings, and welcome to Twin Suns, Axis, and Rationalize, episode 5. I want to say 5. That sounds right. We're back to Brintal, where we last left our intrepid space adventurers with their bulky freighter and whatever luggage was left after what didn't turn out to be warheads, the warheads having been removed at their last stop. And as the task force Rationale, who are trying to figure out who might have been behind the attack at Brintal, this mysterious fleet that set upon the Brintal orbital defenses, as well as civilian ships, civilian ship getting destroyed in the crossfire and causing a bit of an outcry. And then the task force is also attempting to figure out who might have been behind the attack at Alderaan, where there was supposed to be talks to try to sort everything out and prevent any further hostilities. But now, as they have finally reached the Brental system, they have been invited to land at the, hang on, forget what it's called. It is called the Cormond Trade Hall. It's an illustrious site down on the planet's surface. And you have been invited to a private landing platform. Your supplies are being offloaded. And as you are going about your respective duties / interests, I believe you had tucked away the strange little organisms, part machine, part maybe organic, kind of tucked them away in a glass jar somewhere, yes?
Yeah, we'd stash them away somewhere safe where we can get to them. And
keep it secret. Keep it safe. And yes, now a noblewoman had emerged onto the landing platform flanked by armed individuals and was waving to all of you. If I can do her. And
oh yeah,
was waving to all of you. Oh yes, hello, welcome to Brental. And this was as Cassis and Zalon had recognized the armed individuals flanking her, were in fact, it seemed, the strange, possibly hostile military force that had boarded the Visari when it was here at the Brintal system during the attack initially. And this is where we pick up, as you all have a chance now to react as the woman is continuing to wave as she approaches.
Can I immediately turn to Zalon really fast?
Go for it.
Zalon, let's do nothing to provoke them.
That's my thoughts as well.
Let's just play it cool and pretend that we don't know anything.
Let's see here. Does a 16 perception allow me to overhear this conversation?
Where are you at? I forgot where you were at.
I guess I'm in the cargo bay directing helping direct all the people offloading stuff.
Cassis, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
I wouldn't be hiding it from the rest of the party, if that matters. I would be trying more to be in a hushed whisper for anybody else that isn't in the immediate, 5 feet of me.
So you're saying if Fagris
I'm
is
just saying, if he wants to hear it, he can.
Okay. The Bith hears the whisper, apparently.
You two know these people?
Weren't you in the bridge when I replayed the recording?
Yeah,
no,
I thought you were.
No, you showed that to Cassis.
Oh, okay. Well, those armed individuals are wearing the same uniform the people that boarded the Visaris during the battle that we repelled.
For the moment, just be cordial, and remain calm. Just, act casual.
Oh, excellent.
At
I
this
know
point,
nothing. Yeah.
And with that, I guess I start walking towards her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let the before you let your Arcanian friends know that it'd probably be a good idea for them to pretend that they don't speak Basic.
Oh gosh.
Point of fact, I believe you said Arconian. They are Arcanians.
Arcanian, sorry.
Yeah, two very close names, two very different types of alien in Star Wars. But you actually get on your comlink, Zalon. Your head mechanic, Takrira, is actually calming you. Boss?
I see it. We're going to take this easy right now.
Understood. As you guys approach this woman, she draws near. Oh, it is so good to meet all of you and to welcome you to the Brintal system. You are, of course, welcome here at Gorman House. And yes, I do hope you'll be open to perhaps some refreshments. I would invite you back to my home, and perhaps we could discuss. Forgive me. It's well. I might have a business proposition for you all.
Well, we would be very grateful to accept your hospitality, and we would be more than willing to listen to your proposal at your home.
That is good to hear, and I don't think you will be disappointed.
What is this game system? What skill would be the closest to insight in this system?
I believe it's just perception.
Perception? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if there's something in her stuttering and like awkwardness, other than her just being nervous, or if there's something she's not telling us.
Okay.
Nope. 9.
Well, you are at least able to tell there is something she's not telling you.
Well, as
maybe gather information for a future check might work, but I don't know.
I kind of see gather information as more like sleuthing, looking about.
Fair enough.
More like the equivalent of investigation, but
that works.
Yes, I would. Yes, that definitely sounds good. Though, as you can see, we're still in the process of offloading some of the relief effort cargo that we had talked about. I assume it was you that I was addressing
yes.
When we come into the system. Yes.
Tiaski Kalia, and extends a hand out towards you.
Figure Slayer, and I take it. Yes. We currently have we've gotten most of our cargo off thanks to your wonderful ground crew staff and who have helped us in offloading. But we do have some business of getting the rest of it off, and of course several items that were loaned to us by the Alderanians, which we need to get back to them. Probably should take a few more hours, but after which, sure, we would very much like to take you up on your offer.
Of course. Could perhaps the relief personnel be of use? She gestures back to the armored individuals.
That would certainly help us quite a lot.
Yes, they are quite good at lending aid wherever they might be needed. During the recent attack, they actually went above and beyond, making sure that any damaged vessels were seen to, and well, of course. That is a primary goal of ours is to ensure that any visitors to our system do not feel as though, well, they are perhaps unwanted. We appreciate all kinds here in the Bintile system. Perhaps it might be a little overstepping to have so many colonists descending down into the canyons, and I believe the broader term is squatting, but they are, of course, welcome, and we do try to make every effort to make sure that their needs, at least, are met. Whatever that might mean for the future of our planet. And, well, I babble, as you may have surmised, and
I'm sure that this brings you quite a lot of anxiety just to be trying to coordinate all of these different people. Why don't we discuss this more in your home?
yes, of course. I will leave you to your efforts, and you can make your approach to my homestead at your leisure. She has one of her underlings shoot you the appropriate coordinates via datapad, and does a graceful curtsy and departs, seeming to kind of do the, talk, like silently scolding herself for mishandling the situation. But as she departs, the various armored individuals, none of them have gone for any of their sidearms or anything. They are heavily armed, though, still, it seems, and heavily armored, and simply approach the rest of you. Where would we be most useful?
Let me show you, and then I just get them integrated into the system of unloading.
Yeah, I'm going to. First off, I'd like to. Would it be knowledge galactic lore to see just how common of a language Arcanian is on this planet, on Brental, or how likely it is that like random people would know how to speak it?
Yeah, go for it.
27.
Okay, you're guessing it might be something that, higher noble-born people might pick up because of the fact of, a similar sort of society. If the Arcanians would probably be viewed as, respectable sorts who, have an elegant sort of language, but it probably wouldn't be just, any average grunt would pick it up.
So after I get them settled into the process, integrated in the process of unloading, I'll come up to the bridge and say, probably don't have to tell you, but make sure you keep the internal sensors trained on them. Make sure they don't do anything untowards.
I've already done so, Captain.
I assume so. Thank you.
Well, while you're seeing to that, though, actually, Zalon, one of them actually seems to be looking over the ship. I recognize this ship. We actually... We tried to make contact with you during the skirmish. He actually looks up the ID on his datapad. He's like, yeah, the Visari. You were here during the attack, yes?
Yes, and we were boarded without any warning by...
Oh, well, we tried to make contact. We did our best, but for some reason we were unable to reach out.
We were heavily damaged at the time, and our comms were down.
Yes, that was the reason we were attempting to make contact and provide what relief we could.
Well, the Alderanians saw to repairing the ship, but thank you.
Oh, to respect to the Alderanians, they're not exactly shipbuilders.
Yeah.
We got the stars back up and running again.
Oh,
Or else we wouldn't have made it back here.
very well. I mean, if you wish to have our mechanics maybe look over, but it's up to you.
We had it looked over en route. I'll step in.
We've already gone over.
We made en route. We made a short micro jump and had to test out the hyperdrive, kind of work out the any of the kinks, and we had it looked over by the Tapasi. as well, just to double check the work of the Alderanians.
Oh. Good, at least to have a second opinion. Anyway, we'll help you with your cargo. He's like looking around the cargo holds. You weren't carrying a whole lot.
Yeah, it was.
It's been a couple hours, right?
Yeah, we've been unloading.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you've been unloading for a while.
Yeah, we had a lot of cargo, and actually, there were a lot of people here earlier who were helping us offload it. Yeah, they've once they got off all the stuff that they need, they seem to have disappeared and left us with whoever's here right now. Kind of made like the last hour or so a bit longer than we thought it would take, but you know.
Any supplies coming in have places to be. A lot of people in need around here, both in orbit and on the surface now.
Cool. So they're just going to follow us around. None of you speak Arcanian, don't you?
All right. Thank you for your assistance. I need to find some RR ship, if you excuse me.
Yep.
We lost him.
We lost him.
Just lost Bill. But apparently he was going to go do something, so it's okay for now.
All right.
Maybe. All right, I'm back.
So my plan was, cool. You don't. I guess my character would know this by now. You don't speak Arcanian, right? None of you do.
Nope.
Nope.
Shoot.
No. All right. As I was saying when I lost connection, thank you for your assistance. I have to find an Alderani vessel. If you'll excuse me, I see to that. If we're still talking to the thing, I lost connection. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we do need to. We needed to get the loader droids back. Even though the Alderanians kind of threw a fast one at us, we need to play nice and give them their droids back.
So would that be as I extricate myself and go up to the bridge? Would that be a gather information check to see what's in the port, see if there's any other vessels heading back to Alderaan?
I think I made that check earlier the last session. Or was that a check for everything?
Trying to remember if it was that specific. Anyway, regardless, go ahead, Zaylon. We'll see what the...
19.
Okay. There are vessels coming and going, many in the direction at least of Alderaan. Some might actually be passing through. You're not getting like the full flight plans of anybody because those are a little guarded at this point.
Right.
But yeah, for the personnel that were coming in, the armored personnel, it's not like they're trailing you around like a puppy dog or anything. They're just largely going about their business. But one of them was just mentioning that, hey, I recognize this ship.
But still staying within earshot.
Potentially, as long as they're helping with the unloading.
All right.
While the unloading's going on, can I rummage around the med bay to see if there's any extra med packs?
Yeah.
I feel like I already did that.
I'll just say, yeah, there'd be one there if you were wanting to make use of it.
Well, I just wanted to make sure I have one for later on because, well, with our group, we're probably going to need it later on.
Potentially.
So I would actually like to make a use the force check. There is an option that I can do called telepathy. I can exchange emotions or even such single thought as like go or help or danger. And the target can also do the same with me once the connection is established. I'd like to send to Phagris just my general feelings of suspicion.
Duly noted.
All right. So I'm assuming I found an Alderaan, something going back to Alderaan. Do I have to roleplay that, or do we just say we made arrangements?
It depends on you're just trying to send back the loader droids or the ship itself as well.
The loader droids.
Sorry, yeah, Bill, you're cutting out, but I think you're just saying the droids.
Yeah, just the droids.
Yeah, we don't have to go through all of that. So you would be able to find a vessel who would be willing to definitely, a chance to curry favor with the Alderaan Royal House. Yes, please.
And also use the droids to unload any cargo that I'm taking back to Alderaan.
Yeah. I also want to check the HoloNet and whatever, anything about this administrator we just talked to. Would that be another gather information check?
Yeah, go ahead.
$23.
Okay. This is Tiaski Kalia, who just welcomed you all to the planet, the system. She appears to be a proud descendant of Freya Kalia, who was the main galactic cartographer involved in charting, solidifying at least the hiding way into a single cohesive hyperlane that is now one of the major hyperlanes of the galaxy. And she appears to have been at least truthful in that, yes, she is one of the main people aiding in relief efforts for the colonists who are stubbornly making their way down to the planet, most of which was immediately following the destruction of the Bothan vessel, the civilian vessel, the Ralam Kror, during the skirmish with the unknown fleet. And basically since then, a lot of colonists have descended with their vessels down into the canyons and just kind of set up shop and decided that this is where they live now because the Brental orbital control isn't allowing them to proceed deeper into the borderlands, so they're just going to stay here.
No, for lack of a better term, Yelp reviews from any of the colonists having dealt with her?
There are inevitably going to be dissatisfied voices that maybe she could have done more to help change the situation so we wouldn't all be in this mess anyway. But for those who appreciate what she's been doing, there appear to be hollow messages, what have you, back and forth that indicate that they at least acknowledge that she is in fact trying to help in a bad situation.
Okay.
So the unloading continues. The last of the supplies that you have brought with you from Alderaan are dispersed, disseminated, and you are free to go about your business as the relief forces, because they are some sort of armed forces, but they appear to be largely relief forces, bid you all a good evening as the sun, I think singular sun, is setting over the planet, and you are left alone on your platform with your vessel.
I would actually like to make my way over to where 000 is, explain the situation that we're going to be going to a meeting, and then hand him a data pad with the coordinates so that when he's finished with whatever he's doing, that he can come and meet with us.
Understood.
I also tell the crew that I've been planning to not go on this mission, get some stuff done in the ship, but considering the discussion we just had with the minister, I feel I need to be there as well. So I'm leaving the ship in their hands.
You should, I say this to our Jedi, you should probably bring your lightsabers along, even if they don't work.
I agree.
Oh, yes.
I mean, the hilt itself is a powerful symbol, and it can intimidate people regardless of what other mishappenings may have been going on.
It is actually about the time that the offloading finishes that Phagris, you actually are being hailed on your personal communicator.
Ah, this is Fagris.
It is audio only, but you rather quickly recognize the voice of Prince Yorl of Alderaan.
Ah, Prince Yorl, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Unfortunately, it's not a call concerning any sort of positive things. I'm reasonably sure this connection is secure. However, I felt I must reach out to you. I cannot say much, but I urge you to be careful whom you trust. I believe Alderaan is compromised. I obviously do not wish to think ill of my own mother, but I believe somehow things are taking a turn, and I fear that Alderaan may no longer be a place of peace.
I'm shocked Pikachu right now. Okay, what's a diplomatic way of handling this? I'll take your words and the precautions. You mean you must think this is very serious. So yes, we'll definitely make sure to keep everything as close to the chest as possible. Thank you very much for your warning.
You're welcome. Best to keep this short. Farewell.
And while that convo is happening, I want to ask Cassis, so what happened on that last planet? It's always been my understanding that judicials, well, they tend to bend over backwards for any Jedi requests. That's always been my understanding.
What's the point you're making?
That's very odd. I've never heard of. I mean, I'm not in depth with all the Jedi lore, but it's always been my understanding that the common people that judicials are very eager to help the Jedi. Is that not the case?
Are you talking about the officer that had taken me into custody?
Yeah.
Thing is the Jedi don't necessarily have some universal respect given to them by everybody. I tried to peacefully end the situation while keeping our cover intact. Apparently, that wasn't the case. And so, once I was down on the planet, I had to ruffle a few feathers just to get out of there, so to speak. It wouldn't be the first time.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you've overheard any of that conversation, but believe it or not, our Alderaanian friend thinks that there may be a leak somewhere in the Alderaanian camp, and that we should be mindful of who we trust. I know, shocking at this point.
So the thing that actually, I mean, it doesn't necessarily concern me, but it's poignant in its own way that he would contact you to say that Alderaan is compromised when clearly we already know that. And yet, if he is the one that is compromised, is he thinking that by saying that it would ingratiate you to him in some way?
I wasn't planning on trusting anything he said anyway.
Well, I mean, that much is obvious.
But I thought it was worthy enough to mention to you all. And I do get your point that he could be the one that compromised, attempting to cover his tracks. Either way, I see us no reason to do further business with the Alderaanians unless we absolutely have to.
I mean, to be perfectly frank, the Alderaanians haven't always been peaceful. I mean, there was a civil war just 600 years ago.
I also
we're not doing anything more about that at this moment.
Yeah.
Without investigating, so maybe we should contact Kalia and tell her we're on our way.
We shouldn't contact her yet, as I think we're all well aware that we're walking into a trap right now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not going to be a trap unless we let it be a trap.
Right. And I think maybe before we walk into said trap, we have contingency plans for
I was
said
given the
trap.
impression she was going to try to bribe us, personally.
Well, even if bribing us may be the case, we won't know for certain until we're there.
But I would like us to establish especially amongst our Jedi friends, some sort of code word that in the conversation that you could give us if you start getting, what is it you people say, a bad feeling about this, as to not let tip, but something somewhat innocuous that could potentially come up in a conversation as to not tip off our guests that we're onto them.
Like pumpernickel?
Like, horse baby.
Banana.
Something along those lines.
One of the characters has said, "I have a bad feeling about this," so remember to save your game.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, can we just turn off the recording and then just reset what we've done? Let's see. I think I can contact you through some type of telepathy. You'll know without me having to give myself away through verbal communication.
Same.
Yeah, and Mina.
I don't think you'll be able to do that with me, though.
What was that?
I don't think you'll be able to use telepathy with me, though.
Why is that not the case? I would actually like to use it right now, Seth.
Okay.
I'm glad you did, because otherwise it'd be me.
I would like to give him like my general feelings of a need to eat because I am hungry and kind of want to get to this meeting.
Does what what we discussed, what Zaylon does around every Force user, does that prevent this from working?
That is going to be reflected in the dice.
I rolled a 32.
What am I rolling for?
We'll call this
Like a will save?
I mean, if you're trying to resist it, I guess it would be a will save. All it says is telepathy distance. The DC for being on the same planet as me is 15, and my modifier is already 15. So if anything, I auto pass. And I can take a 10 on it if I want anyway.
So what do I do? What do I roll?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
up.
I'll say you can either use your will defense, or let's see, it's based on wisdom, or you could roll and add your wisdom modifier.
My will defense is 17, or I just rolled an 8 on a wisdom, but the will defense is 17.
Okay, so you got a 22, Cassis?
I got a 32.
A 32. Well then.
You get the general feeling of hunger, Zaylon.
Zaylon looks...
But you can tell that it's me with that feeling. It is not you that I am putting that feeling on. If that makes sense.
Zaylon is quietly livid at the moment.
Well, Zaylon, I hope that answers your question. I can alert you if anything wrong happens. And while he's making that face, I'm gonna turn and leave the ship.
Okay.
So, are you all making for your rendezvous?
Well, I guess we need to tell her we're on our way first.
Let's not do that.
Okay.
She didn't give us her com code.
She gave us coordinates to where her place was.
Yeah, and told you to arrive when you wished.
I'm going to attempt to make a stealth check to properly conceal my holdout blaster.
How far away are we from it? Do we have to elicit transportation?
It is actually fairly nearby. It is within probably 3 to 5 kilometers of the sort of museum setup that you're currently docked by.
That's a modified 20.
Yes, Cassis.
As I am leaving the ship, I also wanted to make a poignant note that I am faking my ankle being sprained and am using my quarterstaff to support me.
Okay.
I have
I'm going to try to keep up that act as we go to our new friend's place.
and I've done a stealth check in order to conceal my holdout blaster. I got a modified 20 on that.
Okay. All right. So as you guys head down from the landing platform on the lift to the platform, you guys actually find that there appears to be a land speeder waiting for you with a driver just sort of sitting inside grooving to some music while he's at the controls. As you guys actually get fairly close, he actually sticks his head out the window. You Lady Kalia's guests?
Yes, indeed.
Would you please enter the vehicle? I can take you there.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
Like how we're talking over each other.
Yeah, well, yeah, what?
Talking over each other in an affirmation.
But you all
get it.
into the speeder?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. The driver navigates his way the short distance to the Lady Kalia's estate, and you find this fairly grandiose. It appears to be, in the grand scheme of the local culture, maybe not incredibly old money, but there's definitely some higher class elements to the setup, as there's the large central structure with the highest room of the tallest tower kind of feel to it, and numerous outlying buildings that are for whatever businesses the estate gets up to. As you make your approach up towards the front of the home, and the steps that lead up to the main doors, you are escorted by whatever the Star Wars equivalent of footmen is. I think footmen are a thing in Star Wars, and they lead you inside, and in short order you are directed to somewhere between a big dining room and a small banquet hall is where you're led, and the full spread of local / nearby systems cuisine laid out on a grand table before you. And a few seconds within your arrival, the Lady Kalia actually enters from an opposing door and once again waves happily to you all. Oh, so glad you could all make it. Please, you must all be rather hungry after your exertion and long voyage. Please, she assumes a seat.
I would graciously accept whatever it is that you have prepared for us. Thank you very much for agreeing to meet with us.
Not myself. I actually have a full team of kitchen staff who are far better at preparing meals than I ever could be. Really?
Well, it looks delicious. I'm sure you have a good eye for talent then. And then I'm going to take a seat.
I inherited most of the families who were passed on into the family, and they now do the cooking. It's a family business on all sides of things. Which, well, no, we should. There's an order to such things, and you all should begin. Please eat.
I would also like to make a use the force check, specifically to search my feelings, and with the intent to eat. Is it a good idea or a bad idea?
Go for it.
I would like to take an automatic 10, because I think that's what my ability says. And so with the DC being 15, I'm out at 25.
Okay. Just the way you phrased that just made me think of that bit from, was it Animaniacs, or it's time for another good idea, bad idea. Anyway, good idea, eating food at a large banquet table. Because as you look across the food, it looks well prepared, delicious. Shouldn't interfere with your Jedi oaths in any way.
More with the question in my mind that if it's poisoned.
You do not get the impression that is poison.
All right. So I will then nod to everybody, and then I'll take the first bite.
Yeah, your spidey sense is not going off.
Good, good.
I'm gonna specifically have take from the banquet whatever is on her plate.
Zaylon doesn't care. He hasn't eaten well for the last couple of weeks, so he is eating whatever he sees.
I'm also gonna stay away from the wine.
Yeah, no alcohol for me.
Yeah. Same with me.
Okay. As the Lady Kalia actually is taking some into her glass and looking about. None of you. It's an excellent vintage.
Oh, no, thank you. I feel that since I am currently on duty, that I cannot be partaking at this moment.
Oh, so sorry. I did not mean to offend your Jedi sensibilities.
No, there is no offense taken whatsoever. We, again, really appreciate all the everything that you've been doing for us, at least up until now.
Yes. As at this point, all of you have taken some food and begun to pick away at whatever you wanted. Well, Zaylon is not picking away so much as devouring. Lady Kalia is looking about, sort of wringing her hands. I do, in fact, hope to perhaps do more for all of you, and you, in turn, might be able to perform a specific task for the House of Kalea, and by extension, really the entire galaxy.
What would you be willing to do for us, then, if this is what you're offering?
Well, it is hopefully a rather not unobtrusive task to your current endeavors, as the task force assigned to be investigating the current troubling events surrounding the skirmish here in Brintal's orbit, as well as on Alderaan. I've heard it's a terrible business, terrible business. I'm glad to hear that the Queen is all right. And, well, I believe perhaps I might be able to aid your efforts and secure your good names in restoring family honor before it can be too thoroughly besmirched.
I'd like to do a perception check, see if she's just generally a awkward and nervous person, or if there's something more to this.
Go for it.
Obviously, she wants us to do something, but perception.
Maybe one of us will succeed at this.
26.
Okay.
Nice.
The feeling you're getting is that she it seems as though she feels that she is perhaps treading on not thin ice per se, but delicate terrain, where she is almost paralyzed by the prospect of botching the business offer that she has.
I'm very open to business opportunities. As you probably know, the Vasari was recently challenged, and we're make up for the old Alderanis by aiding in this investigation.
Yes, and
So whatever you need to help doing that, we're more than willing.
well, the thing is, your current vessel is rather... It's not... It's a lovely ship. I mean no disrespect. It is, however, cumbersome and
Yes.
perhaps a bit spent. It's the report from my personnel who, and it was no ulterior motive, I assure you, but they informed me, my personnel who aided in your offloading, that the vessel's systems are questionable, perhaps slightly compromised. They weren't entirely sure to what extent or how.
When did they look at my systems?
Yeah, why would they be going through the systems and not just
Yeah.
unloading?
Oh, it was surface level only, I assure you. They were, well, when one is offloading cargo and using the ship's ramps, doors, lifts to aid with the transportation of various repulsor lifts with the cargo, apparently they felt as though any systems they interacted with were, I believe my lieutenant phrased it as janky.
I'm blanking. What's the model of droid that that Evan's character is?
Oh, the Juggernaut war droid?
Yeah. Ah, that's what you're talking about.
No.
I don't suppose you are any familiar with Juggernaut war droids.
Not personally, peripherally by reputation.
Well, I can assure you, while they are definitely well-meaning, they can be, shall we say, a little bit difficult and overzealous in what they believe they can and can't do. You had me worried there for a second.
Oh, well, yes, perhaps we all overestimate our own reach from time to time. But forgive me, Jedi Drake, you were inquiring as to compensation, yes?
Are you proposing that you'd either give our ship an upgrade or...
I believe it would better suit both of our purposes if perhaps you were to fly in an alternate vessel.
One of your making?
Not necessarily, but I would finance a, shall we say, a light freighter of your choosing.
Well, if anything, we're replacing Zaylon's ship, so he should have the final say on what design it is.
Very well.
I was already considering that since we don't have the current crew we used to have before the incident that almost wrecked her, I was thinking of integrating to a
You are a
different
super
ship
robot.
anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're cutting out really bad right now, Bill.
Yeah, but I believe he was saying because the crew is not the size needed for a bulk freighter, that a downsize is in order.
Yes, that is what I was saying.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
and you offering a new vessel would give us the well-needed funds to sell the Wasari that are required to continue on.
In the end, it would be Zaylon's vessel, and it wouldn't be my choice.
Very good. Then, Captain Zaylon, is this agreeable to you? I understand I have not laid before you the task, but as far as compensation?
Payment seems reasonable. Yeah, and as was already in my plans to do so.
Very good. So I should probably inform you of what I would require before the agreements are struck. I don't wish to proceed in any sort of bad faith. And so, well, she actually looks around and seems to be making sure that none of her organic staff, like there are serving droids kind of filtering in and out, but
There's serving droids in the area. Can I do a perception check and make sure they're not acting oddly?
sure, go for it.
Yeah, do they have Assassin's Creed blades like in their forearms there too?
21.
They appear to be acting as standard serving droids should.
But this is how they were acting on Alderaan as well until they went off, right?
True.
Can I? Well, I can't do this there in tips. I wanted to go through and check the airwaves, see if there's any unknown frequencies, but I'm not going to be able to do that on the down low. All right.
But she proceeds and informs you all. To put it bluntly and in a forthright manner, my family's legacy is at stake. I don't know how much all of you know of the proud Kalia line, but it was Freya Kalia who was instrumental in the forging of the Hydian Way as a cohesive hyperlane from the core out to the furthest reaches of the Outer Rim. And, well, it seems as though the stability of the hyperlane in question has begun to deteriorate. Not terribly, drastically, but whether by some sort of miscalculation of galactic drift or stellar phenomena disrupting the hyperlanes, it is... Sorry, Cassius, you...
Yeah, you're talking about the literal hyperlane, right? Not just border disputes or anything along the lane, but no, like the actual charting.
Yes, the Hydian Way itself is still navigable, of course. Things have not declined so spectacularly, but there are increasing instances of troubling gravity wells, unexpectedly wrenching ships from hyperspace, perhaps people finding their way off course from where they intended their destination to be, and slowly the reputation of the Hydian Way is beginning to crumble.
Have you done any investigation work on the hyperlane beacons?
Of course, we have done extensive research. I have dispatched numerous vessels, astrocartographers, scientists, astrologists even, to try to decipher what might be disrupting the hyperlane. But
if they come up empty, what makes you think that we would be able to find anything different?
I'm not exactly hoping to find the cause at this point. I have been informed that it is reasonable that with rerouting and reestablishing of the appropriate routes that we could restabilize the Hydian Way. For how long, I do not know, but it is at least a temporary solution, and that will have to do as the name of my ancestor is on the line, and by extension, the pride of the Kalia family, and even Brintal.
Phaedrus, what do you know about interdictor ships or stations? Because that's what came to mind.
Yeah, I guess that would be a knowledge technology to know, because I mean, I know that back in the Jedi Civil War they existed, but like how far along the technology has progressed, a knowledge technology, I believe. That's a 24.
Okay. You do know interdiction fields are possible, but from what she's describing, it sounds as though like actual some sort of actual physical body is creating the gravity wells that are disrupting, and like the actual diverting of, like, if somebody punches in the route into their Navicomputer and come out where they're not supposed to be, that's really not going to be down to interdiction fields.
Could you give us a list of which systems are more particularly affected?
Sorry, that was three people at once. Zaylon, go ahead.
Are you aware of where the trouble spots are? I'm asking because charting hyperspace routes generally takes days, and depending on how many trouble spots there are, this could take an extensive amount of time. But if you already know where the spots are, that would probably considerably lower that time period.
She actually comes around, like brings out like her data pad and starts indicating to you. It's like we report here, 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 and she seems to be pretty well informed where the problems are. And as she has already said, like there does appear to be ways of reworking, rerouting things to stabilize the hyperlane, but.
And how many are there? Since this is the hiding way, it's pretty expensive.
That's a lot.
She does like the zoom out to show the entire section of the galaxy, and it shows dozens of alerts.
Yeah, we can't check all of those.
Oh,
I hope.
No, you misunderstand the parameters of your objective. I believe that with the full crews that I have working on stabilizing the hyperlane properly, we can manage it, but already word has begun to spread throughout the galaxy of the troubles of traversing the Hydean Way. And of course, with the new colonist efforts spreading out in that region, well, it could potentially not just harm the reputation of my family, but possibly lead to catastrophic events. So we are working tirelessly to repair the Hiding Way to its former glory, but what I require from you is, well, you are in a unique position to have the backing of Corellia, Coruscant, Alderaan, and the rising powers of the Axis worlds along the Polemian. If each of these parties vouches for you, and you then traverse the Hydean Way and announce that it is safe and restored, it will go a long way to restoring faith in the Hydean Way and the Kalia name.
So
what
we're going on a
kind of
propaganda campaign?
Sorry, Cassis, say again?
We're going on a propaganda campaign, is what you're saying.
If you wish to phrase it like that, I suppose.
What kind of timeline did you have for us making the statements? Because I would like to make it not propaganda and us actually run the route, but I'm not sure when we're going to have the opportunity to run the full route.
Oh,
is it something you want done immediately, or
for the next potentially up to 5 weeks, my operatives will be attempting to restabilize everything along the Hydean, and ideally it would be at the end point of their efforts that your propaganda tour, as you put it, would be reaching its conclusion. This would mean that if you have external business, that I would appreciate if you were able to start your journey from here to the end of the Hydean within 3 weeks.
And you promise to give us this new light freighter after the job is done?
Oh,
it seems
no,
we couldn't even get off planet without it.
It will be supplied to you so that you may complete the endeavor, and until such a time as you will be completing your end of our bargain, I will be content perfectly.
So you want us to do it before stabilizing the Hydean Way? You want to do it? You want us to do it in 3 weeks, though it's going to take 5 weeks for you to repair it?
Yes, well, if you begin your voyage at the roughly 3-week mark and you hit all of the appropriate points to assess the stability along your trek outward to the rim, that would take approximately 2 weeks.
I'm not sure that we can commit to any sort of time frame without actually understanding what's causing these disturbances in the first place. I understand time is a very valuable commodity at the moment and that you're in need of it, but we can't guarantee anything.
Understood. And as I said, I've no wish to disrupt your current efforts in any way, but if you are intent on perhaps learning the root cause of what is causing the disruptions, I would be further in your debt and would try to compensate accordingly.
I feel as though we would be in your debt considering we are using the reward you had given us to perform your task.
She doesn't appear to know quite what to make of that at first. You would wish to repay me somehow?
The biggest problem I'm seeing here is we don't know where this investigation is going to take us. We don't know where we're going to be in 3 weeks if we're going to be in location to do this campaign for you. That's my biggest question mark right now. I'm more than happy to do this for you. It seems like a fair exchange, but I just don't know, given what we're currently doing, if we're going to be in a position to at that time.
Of course. I understand if you must decline the offer. I regrettably accept that you have other business that must take precedent, of course.
Regardless, that's not to say that we won't do our best to accomplish what you're asking for. If anything, I would also like to see a lot of stability, at least along the trade route, not necessarily for your sake, but for the sake of a lot of people that actually rely on it. That said, again, we can't promise what may not be in the direction that we have to go for our investigation.
We might not even be alive in 3 weeks, I think to myself.
Understood.
We can make an effort. We can make an effort, but that doesn't mean that it may be enough of an effort that you would like. And that is going to have to be a possibility that you have to take into account if we go on this.
Of course, and I would accept your approval of the restabilization efforts at your earliest convenience.
What I can agree to right now, because like I said, I don't know where we're going to be in 3 weeks, but I can agree to because whenever we complete our task force, is going to be huge press, I assume. And we can definitely say at that time that we were using the hyper hard hiding way for most of our journey, and it was very stable. That is something I can readily say.
Well,
at this point.
I have no wish for any of you to be deceiving anyone. If you encounter troubles, you must, of course, report them.
Tell you what, while we're on our journey here trying to figure out what's been going on with all of these minor conflicts going across the galaxy at the moment, your team is already working on a lot of these different hyperspace troubles, I'm assuming,
Yes.
from what you told us. If at any point those are fixed while we're doing our investigations, in addition to us also possibly traversing the route based on what may be happening in our investigation, it wouldn't even need to necessarily lead to a lie if at the end of the investigation we say that the Hadian Way is now easily traversable again. That doesn't pose too much of a problem in my opinion. And if there is also ever a dead end on any of the leads that we have in the investigation, we can probably use this Hadian Way disturbance as a new lead itself.
Understood. And if
So I don't see too much of a problem, but again, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get done either in the right order or on the right time.
well, I do see that perhaps one might even be contingent on the other, as until you have reached the bottom of your current investigation, there won't be the mass exodus using the Hydian that there would be, as, well, I believe many people are scared. Yes, some of the colonists are remaining here on Brental because they wish to, well, act against what they feel to be injustice, but in speaking with many of the colonists who have entered the canyons here, I believe many are simply afraid to press on with the galaxy as troubled as it is. Should there be an all-out conflict between the Perlemian and the worlds aligned with Coruscant, they would find themselves behind enemy lines, as it were. So until such a time as a peace, or at least an understanding for now, is reached, the Hydian will be less trafficked. I merely wish for it to be ready and safe.
So you would be agreeable to the arrangements if we announced it with the findings of our investigation, because that would itself open up the Hydian way again.
Oh, well, there are still people traveling the Hydian, so I would wish it done as soon as possible.
We can do our best. That's the only thing that I can say.
That is all I ask, and as I said, I am willing to compensate. Hopefully, in such a way it is not insulting. Would the vessel, as well as 10,000 credits for all of you, be acceptable?
10,000 total?
No, each.
Oh, goodness.
Hi.
5 up front and 5 upon completion of the task.
What do Jedi even do with credits? I think to myself.
Well, we're communists. We give it immediately to the state.
It does actually look to the Jedi at the table. I understand Jedi have no need for material possessions, but I do find it makes it easier to, well, travel when one has credits.
It does make it easier for travel, as well as a lot of different things, as well as maintenance on various things, from ships to either weapons or even giving to people that may be in need that we cross on our way. Regardless, personally, I would be happy to do this for you. I can't speak for everybody else here, but I would like to do my best to at least aid in this situation for you.
As would I.
Same.
She looks over to Phagris, I guess.
Pumpernickel.
Just doing mathematical calculations in my head. What were we talking about? Let's see. I don't like this. I don't like potentially being in debt indebted to them on a promise we can't keep. But it's bad form to go again to show dissent against a possible enemy. So I'll agree.
If anything, we could use this as leverage against whoever it is that's coming after us. If we make it known that we are also on an investigation into why there are hyperspace disturbances in the Hydian Way, and we do get attacked, then whoever we point the finger at is going to carry a lot of heavy weight.
Madam Kalia.
Yes.
I would also like to request that perhaps you don't inform anyone that we change ships. As part of our investigations, we are discovering more and more need for secrecy, and the uses of a new ship would be beneficial for that, but it would negate benefits if it became readily public that we had exchanged ships so soon.
You wish for me to keep your new designated vessel a secret?
That would actually be very
Not necessarily a secret, but just don't spread it around.
She looks around to everyone else. Do you feel as though you are being targeted?
Yes, very much so.
Yes.
Well, we were attacked on Alderaan before we left.
Pumpernickel!
I honestly see no reason to lie to her at this point. I'm sorry, that was out of character.
She actually at this point is looking more afraid, but also there's a glint of excitement in her eyes, like, I'm part of the team. And
Now do you get what I mean? We can't be paranoid of everybody.
I can.
well, of course I could. I'm happy to be useful, however I am able, and as our interests would be intertwined, yes, that would be agreeable, provided that your names at least could be attached to your final report.
Right. And I think we've mostly come to an agreement, unless anyone's objects.
So she reaches for her goblet, is like, then I propose that I drink alone and set down my glass.
I have like milk or something.
Okay, she'll
Yeah, I got
kind
water.
of reach over and clink that for a toast. And
Dude, I lost my D4.
I'm gonna search my feelings just in case it's poisoned.
go for it.
Yeah, I take a 10 automatically, so that's
Okay.
25 over 15.
It's not poison, but it's loaded with glitterstim. It's not. It's not.
See, that would have been fun.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So clink glass, drink water.
Okay.
Actually, it's fine. You only said that we got attacked on Alderaan. And that's public knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's public knowledge that we were attacked on all.
Yeah, I never said anything about us getting the entire ship infested with termites.
Yeah.
All right.
The fact that the Alderaanians gave us more munitions.
Yeah,
Tapasi knows.
a planet.
Tapasi knows that, though.
Zaylon hasn't forgotten that you're the one that negotiated that deal.
I'm innocent.
Hey, I negotiated the deal. Your crew was the one that loaded it onto the ship and didn't check.
I have
And I'm the
full
one that
to-
tried to get you all out of the situation.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
The meal concludes unless anyone else has something else they wish to say.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she's how much sway does she have? She's obviously the one of the heaviest houses, but we do need to. We did have one other bit of business. We were looking at getting following the course, the investigation, and seeing all the and acquiring all the known data that whoever has been investigating the attack at this point have been a few weeks ago. Any sensor data or comms traffic you picked up in order to aid in our investigation. Do you know who we would speak to about acquiring this?
Oh, you may speak to the captain of my relief forces. They had rather extensive readings of the conflict that took place, as well as any of the vessels that were damaged, including the unfortunate Ralam Crow.
Excellent. We'll be.
Zaylon might know this, but I don't know 100% if he does.
You are extremely roboty.
Yeah, you're cutting out there.
The mysterious fleet.
I heard the mysterious fleet, I think.
Well, I'm not going to bore her with those informations. I'm going to ask the security chief.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything for while you're with The lady?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
For Bill to get back.
Yeah.
He may have to turn off his camera.
Can you hear me now?
Kinda.
Sorta, yeah.
Yeah.
So Zaylon, no, I'm assuming he probably knows, but I'm not 100% on this. The mysterious fleet that came in, did any of those ships get damaged enough that it was left in system, or they all managed to escape after the raid?
It was a pretty quick hit and run attack by the mysterious fleet. There did appear to be at least fire back on the ships, but you don't know if there was anything conclusive drawn from whatever jetsam, flotsam, what have is it still called that in space? I don't know.
Space debris.
Sure, space debris.
All right.
But after the meal concludes and you guys actually go to the captain of her relief forces, he greets all of you. We'll say you are directed to his office, and Phaedrus, you were going to inquire about.
Yeah, any sort of any sensor data they had, live communications that they intercepted in between the ships, other than what's been made publicly available, and pretty much any information on or around the attack that they had. If they had any, if they could forward it to. I believe I have at least 5 empty data cards. They can pick one.
I've been directed to cooperate fully, so he transfers without any sort of issue, it seems, just transfers over the relevant data that they have. Are you going to try to look through it now, or are you looking for anything particular?
I'd like to look for any information they have on the hyperspace jump in, and attempt to use that with a knowledge physical science to plot out a vector and therefore possible jump points that they could have used to get in system.
Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
Wow, 15.
Okay. The approach vector actually seems to indicate they came from Coreward on the Prolimian, so you don't know if that means they originated there or if that was simply one of their jumps, but that was the most recent approach vector, at least.
Also, how does the timeline add up from the attack to the hyperspace disturbances? Were the disturbances before or after the battle?
The disturbances along the Hydian appeared to be starting sometime late last year, and this is like the beginning of this current galactic standard year. So those have actually been going on for a few months, kind of increasing in frequency. And the attack at Brental was, I believe, only 2 weeks ago.
Was there a marked increase
When did the
in disturbances after the battle?
Wait, sorry, Cassius, say again?
Was there a marked increase in disturbances after the battle?
By the data that you have, it does not appear so.
Okay. And sorry about
the tensions between the Republic and the Axis have been building for some time because of these colonials. Does that coincide? The beginning of that coincide with these problems with the Hydian Way?
That's kind of hard to pinpoint, as tensions between the Axis worlds, the Prolimian and Coruscant, that actually even predates any of the colonist incentive efforts from Coruscant. Or
I have.
This has probably been a handful of years at this point that things have sort of heated up again, as kind of the old blood is kind of come back and is boiling again from like over 14,000 years at this point, where the first skirmishes and battles and even all-out wars sometimes between things like the Tion cluster and then the Alsacan conflicts. There have been numerous disagreements violently between Alsacan and its fellows and Coruscant and its fellows.
but it happened after the first major pushes of the colonists, correct?
The disruptions on the Hydean?
Yeah.
No, the disruptions in the Hydean seem to go back
Okay.
a few months.
There goes that. Yeah, but a few months, and the colonists have been pouring out for
No, 3 months
a year.
prior.
Yeah, the colonists have only been incentivized, at least, to start settling in the borderlands, and then like to the north and the south of the galaxy. For, let me get you a more specific number. We are looking at, you are getting into the latter half of the second month of year 634, and the incentives from Coruscant for colonization were a New Year feat week thing, so that was only about a month and a half ago.
Oh, okay. So I scratched that theory out. All right. I do want to look at the data card Figures has and see if I can find any information on the boarding of the Vasari.
Okay, it does appear as though you do find records that there were attempts to hail the Vasari that that seem to indicate that the transcripts say such things as, "Vasari, we are making our approach. Do you require assistance?" Yeah.
Were those transmissions being intercepted?
Those would have been on open channels, just trying to broadcast to ships in need.
So then, Zaylon, you're saying you weren't getting those messages?
Yeah, our comms were down at that time.
That seems a little too convenient to me.
At that point, we were already heavily damaged.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else left, I suppose, Zaylon, if you want to pick out your new ship.
I like the crew involved in that. I'd rather
A
not leave them.
mechanic, 2 deckhands, 5 other organics, and a droid.
Oh yeah, who's the Keldor? I really like him.
Takrir is a woman, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, her. Sorry, my bad. They all look the same to me. I'm a weird human.
Yeah, we're pretty good friends. We worked closely together before I was made captain, and this whole captain this and captain that has got me a little unsettled.
But you reconvene back at the Visari with the rest of the crew and the droids?
I'll head that way, even if anybody else isn't.
Yeah.
All right, you are offered transportation back to the landing pad again.
I'll accept it.
All right.
The driver deposits you back to the landing platform. You are able to use the lift to reascend back to where the Visari is decked. And yeah, as you're coming back to it, and like at this point night has fallen, and the floodlights sort of sweep over it, and yeah, the ship has seen better days, but maybe you'll get something out of it.
Zaylon, can you remind me why you ended up with this bucket of bolts?
Because the Alderanian Queen gave it to me. At the company that had previous owned it had decided they didn't want to pay for the repair costs. It wasn't 100% total, but close enough that with a dead captain, they didn't want to put more money into it. So they sold it for scrapping. And the Alderani had the title, and
I think he means before you got on to Alderaan.
before I got on I've been working on the Vasari for years as a mechanic.
Wait, so you just recently became captain?
Yes. Like I said, when our misgivings about the team, why any of us would be on it, including myself.
Well, this story gets even more and more stable. It's great. Just great.
Yeah.
So you were on. This is Fagris now, trying to put everything together. So you were on Brental when it was attacked. You took damage. Who'd you take damage from?
The invading fleet, the mysterious fleet. They kind of hit everybody. I mean, there was a big outcry that the Balthan ship was destroyed, another civilian vessel.
What were you guys doing on Brental?
Delivering relief supplies to the colonists. I mean, we've already been through this a few times.
We haven't.
I don't know what you were doing there in the first place.
Yeah.
Haven't we already had this conversation? I thought we had this conversation.
Not with us.
No.
Oh, I thought we.
We're just now learning that you were on the ship.
I had this conversation with Cassis because he came on board with the Jedi Master, and they interrogated me over this.
No. That was a friendly conversation.
Oh, okay.
We're having another friendly conversation.
I picture this as Fagris just making sure the story lines up.
Also, I think it's a good refresher anyway because I am easily a forgetful person, both in character and out.
So you're delivering supplies and relief efforts to a planet that hadn't yet been attacked.
Yes.
So there were colonists there that were needing supplies shipped in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot, I guess I don't know about your shady dealings.
I don't have shady dealings.
Just like a person with shady dealings would say.
Well, player character knows.
The paranoia turns on each other.
Player character knows things that character doesn't. Shoot, I have to take your word for it because I wasn't paying attention to you during the meetings in your shiftiness.
So
I was shifty because I was terrified of the Jedi.
So
the Jedi had just said submission or death to our ship, and then 3 Jedi show up at my door.
yeah.
We never said death.
No. The recording of Jedi Master Mamori, yes, Jedi Master Bill Murray, arrives.
Jedi Master Bill Murray?
Yep. Guar Mamori
Give me 1
arrived.
second.
Yeah. When Master Mamori arrived in the. Okay. So when that guy arrived in the Brintal system, he was sending out the transmission to Brintal Orbital Control, and was telling them that he was there at the authority of the High Council and that they needed to let him land. And they said no, and he said submission or death. And then the mysterious fleet popped out of hyperspace and opened fire on everybody. So.
And then 3 Jedi end up at my door. Wouldn't you be terrified?
No,
If you just survived that?
Same.
Yeah, because I know that Jedi can be out of line, but the Order has been self-policing.
So out of character,
At least in my character's opinion.
Out of character, do any players need clarification on any other events?
No, I'm
No.
good.
All right, so where are we? What are we doing?
You're back at the sorry.
Yeah, we're back at the
Discussing-
story. I also wanted to catch 000 up on what happened.
Okay.
All right,
So
so
I'll
I
bring him
I
into the
can
room.
lead the crew into like a meeting room, and hopefully the rest of the team comes in, and we'll start planning on looking at what vessels are available and what we need to get.
Okay. Your remaining crew members, Zaylon, actually all sort of come to you, and the Mild siblings and Takrira are all just sort of.
We're getting paid. We're getting paid. They're paying us. We're having funds.
Yeah, that's not exactly the main concern here. So this seems like somebody's just giving us a ship.
we're checking on the hiding way for her because it's her house's reputation's on the line with it going.
This is a small price to pay for some very rich person. So a light freighter wouldn't necessarily be quite so preposterous, especially with the investigation crew needing one. So if anything, she's seeking to ingratiate herself with whatever is going on, and she wants to be on the right side of history. If anything, I would trust her.
I actually do agree with the crew sentiments. I didn't say anything back there because when negotiating, it's never a good idea to not show a unified front. But especially with how the deal is going, where they're giving us the ship and then later expecting us to do something for them, that I don't like us being indebted to Brental, especially indebted to Brental when we still don't know whether or not the Axis is somehow behind what our investigation is.
We're already indebted to Alderaan, and we already know they're compromised.
If anything, the Republic is the one that's sabotaging their own hyperspace routes, just to blame it on the Axis.
That was my thoughts, but it's been going on longer than that.
Well, these border disputes have been going on for years, so this isn't new.
Well, we can't rule out anyone as possibly behind this. And
but I mean,
up,
we're already indebted to the Alderaans, we're supposed to be impartial, so it's kind of evening the playing field if we come the
Alderaanians were already a neutral intermediary in this.
As far as we know.
Yeah, but we already know they're involved somehow because we know they're compromised. We've already figured that much out. And our concern is that the Brental are compromised as well. But we've already accepted assistance from someone we know is compromised. So complaining about accepting sentences from the Brental when we don't know that they've been compromised seems like a...
No, we didn't. We didn't know the Alderaanians were compromised until they snuck a whole bunch of concussion missiles on our ship.
All right, and we don't know the Brental are compromised right now either.
Give them a chance to double-cross you, Phagris.
I'd like to learn from our mistakes.
Hey, what I see is we need a new ship, and I need to pay the crew, and this gets that both done.
So is she going to give us the 5,000 credits up front right now?
5,000 now, and then another 5,000 upon completion.
Yep.
Then I can front you at least half of that from my end to help pay your crew.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, if anything, if they're willing to stay on too, I'd also like to keep them around to investigate this new light freighter that we will be getting anyway, just to make sure that any tracking beacons or cameras or listening devices or anything are not inside.
I would take ownership from the floor. I don't want it to go through Brental and then us. I would pick it up directly to alleviate any risk of them doing something to it before we receive ownership.
Unless they've done something to all of them on the factory floor, for all we know.
Yeah.
True.
Unless the ship is already on Brental, which to me sounded like what was going to happen. We would go to a ship, we'd go to a lot in Brental that had impounded ships that they need to get rid of, and they would give us one of them.
It doesn't take a genius to put a tracker on the outside of a ship anyway.
Yeah, but I was thinking we'd look at the open market and see what's available and go somewhere other than Brental. But if you're thinking that's not on the table.
No, she would be shooting herself in the foot if she allowed something like that to happen to us, especially if her own reputation is on the line. I say let's just go, you pick out a ship and we can get a move on.
All right, so what are we looking for in a ship? Something fast, something a lot smaller.
That's what Cassis is looking for, I think, if his subliminal messaging is any indication.
I want some grand captain quarters, decently armed, and a little bit of cargo space. that a 4-person crew can handle. Does the crew have any input?
The light freighter that I have here on screen actually has plenty of room for everybody. It's roughly the size of the Evan Hawk and has much the same layout.
Yeah. That model is a few centuries old, so it probably won't look exactly like that, but the equivalent, sure.
And yes, captain quarters.
Ship design is my character's former career, so I guess she is going to have a vested interest in picking out the ship as well.
I would think we'd need an upgraded sensors package. Just by what we're doing, we're going to be. It sounds like we might be investigating what's going on with the Heidi and Lay as well. So we would want some upgraded sensors to work on that.
I'm sure that she can't give us just anything we ask for.
Yeah. That would be purchases that we would have to make on our own.
Yeah,
in that regard, I would also like secured comm systems for all of us, as well as long-range secured comms on the ship.
All right, we're just hypotheticaling here. Let's actually. Can we just?
Well, I guess again, if they have a lot of ships. Well, if they have a lot of ships, then and these are the things that are important to us. Let's see if they have a ship that has any of these capabilities, and we pick the one that has the most of these capabilities that they have.
Yeah. All right.
So for gameplay reasons, any vessel you're going to pick up is going to be basically the vanilla version of that. For any, adjustments to the systems or what have you, you're going to have to be using your finances to compensate for the cost there.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Same.
But now you guys have 30,000. Well, no, 25,000 credits. So yeah.
Okay, so
Between us. Where does my?
Since Zaylon already knows he's making a balls out of this captain's thing, he's going to research what he needs to transfer the licenses from the Vasari to the new ship, and about transferring the droids to the new ship. Find out anything else he might be missing and what he needs to do.
Okay. Make a knowledge bureaucracy check.
Oh, wonderful.
Also, I just want to reiterate that
Natural 1 for 6.
Yeah. So
What was that?
Zaylon, I'm going to be handing you 2,500 credits specifically to pay the crew, and whether or not that actually gets to them is up to you. But I just want to make that known.
Thank you, Cassis.
So yeah, with your natural 1, Zaylon, yeah,
I'm a terrible captain, basically.
Yeah, you feel as though, if you go into the ship bureau somewhere and tell them to do the thing, they might just be able to do it for you, but...
I'm the worst captain in the galaxy, okay.
It's an auspicious beginning.
So I'm going to lose all the licenses and lose the droids. Okay.
Hold on, I can do that. Let me use my connections thing again. Do I don't have to roll for that? That's an ability I have.
For the connections?
Isn't that
Oh, no, that's to acquire stuff. Well, I guess I could use a bureaucracy roll to get everything transferred.
A mechanic, not a captain.
You kidding me? I got an 18.
Better than my 1.
Are you saying that's bad? An 18 seems...
Well, plus 11.
Okay, well... Okay.
18 is bad.
Yeah, fair enough. With an 18, you are able to, fully assess. Like you know the full extent of what channels one would have to go through to transfer over licensing and whatnot. I'll just probably point out that even Zaylon with your 1, just your ship know how. If you are transferring licenses from one ship to another, someone might be able to track that.
What about transferring them to my own name? In whatever ship I'm captaining.
That wouldn't be, an immediate like a flag to anyone on their search parameters, but if they have, researched the Visari's crew, you would show up on that manifest. So.
Okay. But it wouldn't tell them what ship I'm necessarily manning right away. They'd have to do more research for that.
Right.
They could find it out, but it wouldn't automatically tell them what the ship is.
Yeah. If your name is attached to a different ship at this point, it's essentially like if you transfer the title of a car. It would be
hard for them to find the new ship, but just learning that it would take them an extra step or two to figure it out.
Right.
Do we necessarily need to register it in anybody's real name?
Yes.
I honestly don't think so.
Well, the problem comes when we show up.
Damon has never owned anything, and he's suddenly given a ship, and it's his everything.
It should be registered in one of our names, because even if we have a different ship, we're still the officially recognized investigating force. We'll need to identify ourselves as that investigating force, and if we come on a ship under false pretenses that isn't directly registered to someone that's on that investigating force, more questions are going to be asked of us when we get there.
That's that there's an active space administration when we immediately jump out of hyperspace, though. I mean, not everything is going to be nearly as tightly controlled in real space as it is in the core.
So we have two. Yeah.
After we do this, can you help me sell the Visaris, since apparently I'm not very good at this?
Yeah. But are you suggesting that we have two registrations then? One official, one non-official?
No.
I'm inclined to say no, but I see where that might be helpful.
I feel like it would just... Eventually somebody's going to figure it out. It's just... I don't think it'll end well.
You don't want to be the Millennium Falcon with however many different transponders?
No, because eventually if you find one of them, you'll find all of them.
Dude, if only we could have delayed us actually getting a new ship and having to sell the old one, because man, there's a feat that would make this so much easier.
I was thinking next episode we would do this, but here we are.
What was that?
All right. So we're pretty much deciding on what we're doing. We pretty much decided.
Yeah, all it comes down to is which of our names you're going to be putting the name in, or the ID tags or whatever.
Well, it would be Zaylon's.
Very well.
All right.
He's not a good captain. He's a proud captain.
Yeah.
Captain out of necessity.
I tell the crew I'll speak to them privately later. And I want to take Phagris aside for a moment.
Oh, dear.
Phagris, it's abundantly clear that I haven't been trained to be a captain. I've only ever been a mechanic ever before, and I'm greatly out of my depth with this bureaucracy stuff. Could you perhaps train me in a little bit of what I need to know?
In bureaucracy?
Or just general stuff I would need to be a captain, which seems like a lot of it is bureaucracy.
I've
like how to handle the paperwork that you just did.
Man, how do you condense like how do you condense 40 plus years of like into,
Well, if you're a
If
force
you're
user, you could
captain, I
do,
need
transfer knowledge.
if you're captain, I need a lot more skills than I ever had as a mechanic.
Hmm.
The whole thing, I should have already been aware of happening licenses for the Vasari, so that incident at the last port didn't happen. I should already been aware of a lot of stuff that I'm finding on my way, and it's been detrimental.
I guess the only thing you really need to know is the laws of the land, which you can look up and
Well, I just
how
tried,
to
and that
fill up
didn't go
paper.
very
Yeah, just learn the law. Just learn the laws, forehead. I guess I can have you shadow me next time I go about paperwork. Like,
All right.
this is how you do it.
Thank you,
Actually, no,
sir.
that literally was my last job. Is I would people who didn't know how to buy ships, I would help them buy ships. So
How do I get you into this spaceship?
Thank you,
You're
Faith.
a used car salesman, Figures.
no. I wasn't the used car salesman. I was the expert that you brought along with you when you went to the used car dealer to make sure the used car salesman wasn't pulling a fast one on you.
Oh, so basically all of the money they would have pumped extra into the car salesman actually goes into you instead. So you're going to be paying the same amount.
They are symbionts.
All right, so
Hey, when you get fired with no pension for 27 years, you gotta make do.
all right, so I guess I'll go see the deckhands first, the siblings.
Okay.
And all right, guys, we've worked together for several years now. We both know, we all three know, I'm out of my depth, and I really appreciate you guys staying with me. We have funds now, and I'd like to negotiate your pay. Is there a amount that you guys were thinking on?
Suvli looks to Udrin and just 500 credits a week.
That's more than I made when I was crewing. This is a much smaller ship. We're going to be making much less money.
Man,
Free room and board, 500 credits a month.
Actually.
300.
400.
350.
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah.
I am so happy that you actually roleplay haggling.
15.
Sorry, what?
I'm so
15.
happy that you actually roleplay haggling.
Sorry, Zaylon.
15.
Okay. 375.
350 plus a signing bonus.
Of
Udrin just like folds his arms. We're listening.
I'm looking at my funds right now because I want to give them a good deal. Because I like these guys. I mean, we're friends.
I don't know. Only one of them's proven their worth, but that's just my opinion.
And the Jedi just gave me a lot more funds to work with. $2,000 signing bonus.
They look to each other.
Each?
Each, yes.
Done.
Excellent. Thank you. And I give them the 2,000 signing bonus, and I give them the first month's pay.
Okay. Mark that off on your inventory.
You're gonna need an Excel sheet for this.
Yeah. No kidding.
Cassis with Bill Murray in the background, and your clock shows up every now and then. I'm just like, that's no moon.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this thing. It's always picking it up like it's my head or something.
So I got a nice big clock of a moon, so I got that going for me, which is nice. All right.
All right, so I got 63,000 of what we just made, and then I go see my droid tech.
We have 63,000? What?
I mean, 6,300 left.
Okay.
63,000.
No, I'm okay with 63,000.
I haven't even sold the ship yet.
We haven't sold the ship yet. I don't have that money yet. Okay, so I go to my droid tech, and I was like, "How long have we worked together now?"
I believe you first came aboard over 2 years ago. Beyond that, I don't recall much.
And we've been good friends ever since. I really appreciate you coming back. It's meant everything. That said, now we have some money to work with. And let's negotiate your salary.
Salary.
What were you thinking?
I trust you to be fair.
Jeez.
We got to pay more than the deckhands.
Yeah.
How about 5,000 a month plus room and board? And
5,000?
then, I mean, damn it, I did it again, didn't I? 500.
Done. Done. Immediately done.
Room and board. 500 a month room and board, and a signing bonus of 2,500.
That sounds agreeable, Captain.
All right. I appreciate you staying with me, and I pay her 3,000 right now.
Man, we're gonna need those talents and feats when we get to 3rd level that I'm about to take.
All right, so I got 3,300 left of what we just made.
All right.
All right.
You have. The rest of us have our.
The rest of you all have the rest of your money.
All right. The crew is paid. The evening concludes, unless someone else has, because it's getting rather late at night at this point.
I mean, I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I
At
have
least-
some
yeah.
shopping ideas, but this is not the place for it.
Okay. You all find your rest on board the Visari for perhaps the final night. We'll see how it goes. And a crate dragon attacks in the night, and you all... No, it's fine.
Crap.
Are there crate dragons on Brental?
I don't
No,
know.
the Alderani probably fit one in the ship somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And speaking of that one,
Yeah. Snuck in an egg into the cargo hold while we weren't looking.
I mean...
They probably snuck in those little biodroids.
but before we go to bed, I go back down into the mechanics area and disable the EMP that I set up the other day.
Okay. So it's that thing of like where you're lying down in your bed, like, okay, now it's time to... Oh, I left the oven on. Could just burn down the whole house. Anyway, but
Yep.
Are you setting up any sort of watch? Are you still being thusly paranoid, or?
I'll be in my forced trance, so I'll in 4 hours I'll be able to gain an 8-hour rest, as well as that my senses are. I'm still able to have use of my senses. Like if somebody begins to speak to me, then I can just come out of the forced trance.
And I also have essentially I essentially have like the same thing that like elves do in 5e, where I also only need 4 hours to meditate to get a full rest. So
Okay.
between the two of us, we can cover the full shift.
Okay.
Actually, if anything, I can cover the whole shift alone. Like that's not an issue.
Yeah. You'll be the backup on my ship because I actually don't have good perception or
I do.
backup. You'll be the backup. I'll do my shift while you're meditating. Then you can come out of it to help me out.
Very well.
I don't know why I snorted there.
Zalen's going to wake up early. Not before his 8 hours, but he's going to get up fairly early because he's got
Okay.
some stuff he needs to get.
Cassis, what is your perception modifier?
That would be a 9, good sir.
Okay.
Oh, we have the same perception.
Oh.
All right. Okay. The morning comes.
All right.
And everything's burned down?
Everything appears fine.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I am actually, I know what I can do. I am going to take my recording unit, which is, I have the audio and visual one. I'm going to take the specimens of whatever that we still have and make a quick recording. I'm not taking them out of the jar.
I was actually heading down there to do stuff with him this morning as well, so I'm going to meet you there.
Cool. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to take some samples and recordings of these and try to send them to the university on Clackdoor 7 and see if any of my former colleagues there who still work at the university can get us any information on them.
Okay.
Okay. I was thinking of getting information elsewhere, but multiple sources should be helpful.
Second opinion.
Okay.
Always is good.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to do. Okay. So we've seen them destroy 2 lightsabers and infest the droids at the on Alderaan at the summit. Can I surmise anything about the timeline it takes them to take control or damage the damaged equipment, given that I have 3 reference points now?
Oh, the droid parasite creatures?
Yeah. Now I have 3 reference points. I think I might have an idea of a timeline.
As you're examining the remains, go ahead and make a mechanics check.
30.
It's fast, okay. Yeah, as you're investigating and like splicing, tinkering, and dissecting basically the remains. And,
I'm filming this, by the way.
You're rather quickly
Well,
assessing.
I'm not the remains yet. They're still alive, aren't they? Aren't they still alive?
No, any of the ones you've recovered, those are inert. It seems.
In the glass containment bottle, they're not alive. I
No.
want the very large scale. Damn it!
It
Okay.
appears as though the various means you use to subdue and or acquire them, with your mechanics check being that high, Zayland, you're able to assess these are whatever mechanical organic equivalent of
Flies.
mayfly kind of things. They have an incredibly short lifespan, maturation cycle, and it appears as though they do not respond well to captivity. And
All right. So, did I learn anything about the timeline? Did I perhaps try to pinpoint when Cassius's and Mina's lightsabers were infected, given that I have 3 sources to work with now?
okay, so like trying to backtrack, basically trying to figure out the
When it happened?
half-life-ish of these things. Yeah, with your result, I'll say Cassis's lightsaber would have had to been infected very shortly after his arrival on Alderaan. Mina shortly thereafter. Probably the same day.
And since they're dead already, and I couldn't do what I wanted to do to them, I'm just gonna run an electric current through them at high voltage.
Okay.
I would have preferred if they were alive during this, but I'll do what I
Easily
can.
enough
'cause
done.
I'm committed
However,
to really with them.
kind of as you do that, Zaylon, you're also picking up the fact that these things seem to break down upon being deactivated, and whatever base compound they're breaking down into, it is highly corrosive.
Cool.
I
So
just
I'm gonna.
dispose of it. I was
Well,
I was wanting to release some frustration by torturing them first, but I guess that's not happening.
I'm going to take all the
Alright.
videos that I've taken of that, as well as all the samples that we have, data on the samples, and forward them to the requisite any contacts I might have at the university I attended,
Okay.
to see if any of them can get back to me on what these things are.
Okay. Just go ahead and
Gather information, bureaucracy.
I'd actually call this a persuasion, like, because you're reaching out to old contacts, trying to garner some favors.
27.
Okay. You have sent that out, and perhaps you will receive a response.
All right. So when Cassius and Mina get up, I'd like to talk to them. But in the meantime, I'm gonna learn what I can about Alderanian politics and the current election, the next election is going to happen, and what could be done to influence that election. Would that be a gather information?
Sorry, which election?
The Alderan election for the next queen, since she's an interim king.
Yeah, go ahead and roll gather information.
10. I'm useless.
Okay. The most you're able to pick up is that Queen Ishorla is actually not interim queen for any sort of reason that there's a forthcoming election. It appears as though she is sort of interim monarch because of the fact that there is in fact a rightful heir to the Alderanian throne that was too young to assume the throne when her appointment came by the death of her parents. So the rightful queen at this point is,
There's no
learning to speak, that sort of thing.
There's no way that she'll continue being queen. It goes right down the bloodline, is what you're saying.
It appears as though that is the case, unless the traditionalists, the powers that be on Alderaan, want to make any sort of special dispensation for. Oop, lost him. Yes, there are special circumstances surrounding the Queen Regent currently seated in power in Alderaan. That.
I doubt I can figure for my role, but there way influence them making that dispensation.
Is who?
Yeah, that was all robotic, buddy.
Yeah.
Did I influence them to make that special dispensation to have her remain as queen? I doubt it, giving a 10.
Yeah, you're not entirely sure what that would look like. Who would have to be persuaded of her effectiveness?
Basically, a Sophia Ivan / Peter situation.
Reminiscent.
In Russian history.
Yep. Hey, if George R. R. Martin can copy the War of the Roses, I can. Anyway, here's it.
Anyone else have anything to do on this day?
No, I'm kind of.
Elon said he wanted to talk to me. Oh, sorry, me.
Oh,
No,
you
I'm
are-
kind of assuming that this is not the place to go to get medical supplies right now, since we just brought stuff over.
Was there like a hospital somewhere nearby?
Yeah, there are hospitals around, and some are even some are allowing outlying colonists from the canyons where they've set up to trickle in and receive whatever sort of attention. But yeah, it appears as though the bulk of the Brintal hospitals are, we're gonna take care of our own people.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can probably part with a few med packs for some credits.
Possibly.
Possibly. I was kind of looking for a medical kit, which might be a little bit more that they can get away with. But if they're willing to get a medical kit and maybe a couple med packs, I'll do that. But
So
Maybe
yeah,
we
just by gauging the atmosphere, you could probably find what you're looking for, but you're probably gonna also be heavily price gouged for it.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, waiting until next stop we have.
Okay.
Well, I guess I
Well,
gotta sell the. I guess I gotta sell the ship now because we're not gonna be able to travel with 2 ships.
Yeah. But when I can, I can talk to Cassius and Mina if I can find them together.
Yeah, I'm here.
Same.
So I was looking over the information we gathered, and I've kind of backtracked to when your lightsabers were infected. Cassius got infected almost immediately after you guys arrived on Alderaan, and Mina's was just a short period after that. It helps you figure out where you could have been. I'm assuming it was during the battle that Cassius got infected. I don't know that 100%, and I would assume Mina's was right after the battle, if I'm reading my timeline correctly.
Possibly.
So what you're saying is it wasn't my lightsaber wasn't infected when I was detained?
No, it was almost immediately after you arrived on Alderaan.
So then
And
somebody
she
must have been working
was-
against us even before we met for this task force.
Mm-hmm. And Mina's was a short while after that, almost immediately following when yours got infected.
And to my knowledge, nobody else had encounters with these machine flies at all, except for the 2 of us.
Not that you know of.
Would have to. Actually, I don't know if I'm there.
Something's
Yeah,
still,
Something
yeah,
just
I don't know.
feel right.
Well, I mean, we can't really get too far with the line of questioning that comes from this, unless if we kind of take the bull by the horns and confront the prince about it. But I think that's a very bad idea at the moment. So, yeah, I can't think of anything. But it's good to know that it wasn't the police force that we had encountered.
I'm assuming Zaylon doesn't know, but where did you go, Mina, right after the battle? You went off somewhere, didn't you?
I went with the party with the High Queen to make sure Sistri was taken care of.
That's interesting. Because if I understand the timeline correctly, that's about when you're, let's say, we're going to, if
Robot
I'm
Bill.
interpreting the time.
Like the you're not in like 100% set in everything in the timeline, Zaylon, but that's roughly what you're thinking. Yeah.
All right. Well, at least it's good information to know at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. We should probably get to selling the ship and then moving along. We should probably get back into hyperspace pretty soon here.
So, Fagris, you're taking point on that?
Yep.
I guess.
I'm shadowing this.
So I
Job
guess
shadow, yeah.
it would be a gather information to find a buyer, and then a persuasion to work out a good price.
Yep.
Cool.
Would you guys like to bring me along for the haggling?
Does that mean I'm assisting? Does he get a advantage or something for me shadowing him?
If you assist, he can get a +2.
That depends on your role.
Oh god.
I guess if you guys want to come to watch me deal.
Well, I mean, it depends if you want him to give you his entire bank account or if you just want a few measly credits for a pile of junk.
This ship is worth 4,000 new, 400,000 new, and 200,000 used. But
yeah, this is more than you.
damage.
This is the damage these things have done to it is going to require more costs.
Yeah,
than the
this
use
thing
price.
is held together by the bolts. There's nothing left of it.
We're going to be lucky to get 100K out of it.
Just 100.
I was about to say, what's the price of scrap?
Actually, we would even get more if we tore it apart.
I guess that would depend on my gather information rule.
Yeah, I suppose. Anyway,
Okay, so you do
distracted
your
by something.
gather information.
Cool. 26.
Okay.
Do I assist on that? How do I do? I rolled.
Yeah, you also gather information, and as long as you get a 10 or more, you can add 2 to Fagris's total.
Yeah, 22.
Okay, yeah. So
28.
yeah. Fagris, you are with your team of helpers and your job shadow boy, you are able to locate a number of people who are able to take it off your hands, but that is very much the verbiage they use. And yeah, you're definitely getting the impression that one, the ship is kind of hot in you know, the professional jargon, and 2, it has taken severe damage. 3, not knowing the extent of the you know, internal deterioration, probably this is going to be a situation of, yeah, we totaled the car, gentlemen. We're gonna scrap it.
Cool. All right. How do we play this?
You never get your car or spacecraft.
I guess since there's multiple that will take our hands off it, we go one by one, and so we have backups. We're not afraid to walk if they extra don't want it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your persuasion to see how well you're able to do in general, and then we'll narrow it down from there.
Ooh, that's a 1 off a crit. So that's a 30.
And I got 23, so it's +2 to him.
So a 32. So yeah, the Jedi, if you're tagging along or just watching, is Fagris is laying it all out there, like, really, what's happening here is this is a service for the Republic, and like trying to haggle for her life, and Zalon is chiming in here and there, and it's a very special ship. I've worked on it for years. It's anyway. So yeah, through the course of it, 3 different buyers appear to be brought around, at least as, like, okay, we'll fine, you know, tell us your asking price and we'll go from there.
Cool. Knowledge, technology. What would be a normal asking price for a ship in this? Since I've dealt with for nearly 3 decades of used ship sales, what would a ship like this fetch for on the scrap market, essentially?
All right.
Would that be knowledge, technology, bureaucracy?
Yeah, call it a tech.
15.
Okay. As far as
So it's
recovering an old Nava computer, potentially hyperdrive, various scrap metals. You feel if these were optimal circumstances and you were basically selling what remaining components might be useful as well as the scrap metal, potentially somewhere around 20 to 25,000 credits.
20 to 25. If it's
Under
That's
optimal
if-
conditions. You
under
are aware
optimal
that these are
conditions.
not optimal conditions, as you're not any sort of big corporation, selling one of your ships. This is a situation of they're probably assessing, these people are trying to offload this ship, I can probably go for less. So
well, in that case, let's start at the lowest end of that, 20,000, and we'll work our way down.
okay. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check. I have to do some opposing.
Why do I mess up that one? 14.
And
I messed up the most important persuasion check.
I got 12.
Zaylon, you were aiding on that as well? Or
Yeah, I'm aiding the whole time.
okay. 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 You actually are able, only one of the buyers that you're talking to doesn't immediately scoff and turn you away. The one who still seems open to conversation is just this elderly Sephi man who's just leaning back, feet up, booted feet up on a table as he's sipping a drink in the shade, next to a rocky canyon that's been hollowed out for his ship garage, and he just says, 20,000 seems fair. We'll make it 16.
$18.
17, and you can inform me, what exactly is the secret to Bith music? Seems very methodical.
We have a deal, as I regale him in the wonderful intricacies of just how it is we Bith are so musically talented.
Do you play the clue?
All right, he actually appears to be rather interested, and you keep on waxing on about the mathematical precision of how Bith instruments function, and how the perfect pursing of the Bith mouth hole for various instruments is the ideal for jats or whatever. Yeah, anyway. Whatever it's called at this point, it goes through a few different names as I recall. Anyway,
It's also very helpful when reading music of not having to blink all the time.
So,
yeah, that one makes sense.
I'm sorry, I kept losing connection. How much did it end up being?
17K.
17. That's a significant number in Star Wars. Yeah.
That's 3,400 each.
2,000.
We got to remember that Evan has 8,400 credits.
Yeah,
Each? The Vasari's in my name.
I guess you get 17
wow.
if that's the way you're playing it.
Yeah. You're not
Unfortunately, my character isn't that materialistic, and I know the Jedi aren't either.
but you're not even cutting in your negotiator. That's cold.
Wow.
Ah, the negotiator.
Normal.
Okay.
What do you usually get? Like 25%?
That's up to you.
What, for my negotiating fees? Generally, my fee is 50% of how much I save them.
So I give you half of that 17.
I'm not taking all half of it.
Well, do what you want to do.
All right. So you guys have successfully sold some scrap metal that was Zaylon's former home, and yeah, feel pretty good about yourself. And you feel as though you've found, perhaps a slightly corrupted but also kindred spirit in the shipwright that you sold it to, Figures.
Okay, Fagris.
Yeah.
I gave you 80. I give you 8,500, and then I give you another 4,000 to add to the community pot.
Cool. So 6,100 there.
He's a generous captain.
You did just pay my crew, so I needed to keep something.
27, 25. Okay. Cool. We have the ship's total. And actually, I'm not going to say this, but you didn't actually need to do this because I've already just been adding my total to whatever like the ship total was anyway. You know what that'll buy us all? Secure comlinks.
You need a comlink? I just need to speak with people with telepathy.
Secure comlinks. How much are those?
I didn't know that telepathy was not quite that secure.
Anyone could be listening in. Most importantly, the game master. All right. So, are you guys deciding you want to find transportation elsewhere to try to purchase or procure a ship, I guess, since it's going to be...
I mean, if we're getting one for free, we may as well take it.
Are you looking for it here, or are you're heading somewhere else to try to find a ship?
I have no idea. Because I thought she was just going to take us to a dockyard somewhere and give us either one of her personal ships or an impounded one they need to get rid of.
I mean, if that's how you want to do it, but she basically what she said was that she would provide you with a ship.
Yeah, so Fagris, is that what we're doing?
Yeah. I could go my shopping spree to get encrypted comms later.
Icarus, I'm going to add 2,500 to the ship pool on that one.
Okay. So we're at 8,600 for the ship.
Okay.
That still leaves me enough to do my shopping spree when we get to a place.
And I guess 14,000 per personal, but I'm about to blow all that on encrypted comlinks.
At this point, it's pretty necessary.
They're expensive.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why. They're encrypted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we make our way to the to the shipyard and get our ship.
Okay. Do you alert Lady Kalia, or do you just go and inform her later?
I would alert her first.
Yeah. I'm assuming in that meeting she gave us her personal comm or
Yeah,
a way
she
to
would.
contact her.
Yeah.
Did we remember to make sure 000 was off the ship before we sold it?
No. Wait, that was an issue? I mean,
I'm assuming we have the droids, and if we have the crew, then we have the crew and the droids.
Recovered the crew and the droids. Okay, so you guys head to the shipyard. There are, a number of vessels available. Some of them small personal size, some light freighter, some that are roughly gunboat size, but nothing with that sort of armament. What are you looking for?
Something a lot smaller. A nice captain's quarters.
Bigger than a gunboat.
Cargo, a little bit of cargo space, moderately armed, and if anything's got a better, I doubt it because you said there wasn't going to be. If anything's got a superior sensors package, which I think we already decided there wasn't going to be. But
Yeah,
that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. I think the Karelian XS light freighter is a very nice model. We should look for one.
All right. First, okay. And yeah, you can all either attempt your own gather information or try to pool your results.
Who's got the best? I have a 7.
I have an
not-
11.
Okay.
1.
Nice.
All right,
High
so-
five.
So the rest of you wish to.
Vegas.
So the rest of you want to try to assist Phagris?
I'll defer.
Yes. I'll
Yep.
assist.
Someone should assist. Yeah.
Y'all better, because I rolled a 2.
Well, I have a 15 total, so
Okay.
That 2 makes it a 13 total, so that's a 15 total either way.
Okay. Just good that somebody was helping you out, because there's a point, Phagris, when you're getting a little frustrated at not being able to find what you're looking for, and you're just studying your data pad, going this way and that, and kind of passing by in one of the canyon rock faces that's hollowed out. And as you're passing by this large opening, Mina actually just taps you on the shoulder, and you're like, "What?" And she's just pointing into the nearest cavern, and you're like, "Oh." And sitting inside is the vessel in question of the model that you're looking for.
Cool. We got our ship.
All right. So what kind of armament? I mean, weaponry does it have? I don't have the stats in front of me. Yes, I see you're pointing at it. I'm just trying to figure out what upgrades we're going to need. An improved sensors package, but other than that, I'm not sure.
That later.
So are there specific stats for that one, Cassis, or is that?
You can make up whatever stats you want for it.
All right,
It's
then I will figure out the equivalent stats for it. But basically, it's going to be.
It's just an updated Ebon Hawk that's 300 years newer than that, but you can add whatever the heck you want on it.
Yep.
Cassis, can you move to your left just a hair for a moment? Not left screen, your left. I'm trying to see. There's mandibles in the front, like the Falcon's supposed to have, but don't work because there's a missile launcher there.
Mandibles?
I'm going to say that cargo handling mandibles. The Falcon has them. It looks kind of like it, but the Falcon doesn't work because there's a missile launcher there. It hasn't worked since Han installed it. It's for loading cargo.
So.
So I'm going to assume it's for loading cargo. Okay. And I'm looking at it very impressed. Like, this looks nice.
Yeah, both Phagris and Zaylon, you guys know your ships, and this is a good model of a light freighter.
What kind of weaponry does it have? I just want to know what we have to upgrade on. I mean, does it have like one turbo laser, or what does it have?
I believe you have light turbo lasers and laser cannon batteries. Going off with the light freighter. I don't know. That's a frigate. Never mind.
Yeah, let's buy a frigate, guys.
Wouldn't have the same problem again.
All right.
I would like to inconspicuously enter the system with a frigate.
It's foolproof. There it is. Okay.
What are we looking up?
I'm trying to find the light freighter template.
Yeah, it would be in the Starship's guide.
Uh-huh.
The dynamic class freighter.
Is that the
Yeah,
one?
that would be one of them.
Okay. That one is page 80 in the Starship guide.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's roughly what we're looking at. So yeah, laser cannons is what you're looking at.
How many does it say?
Just says double laser cannons.
Double. Okay.
So if you wanted to install anti-personnel sort of turret, that would be add-ons.
Okay.
Personnel would be mounted on the bottom, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it have a name already?
It has a blank transponder, blank deed, title, what have you.
The Rusty Minoc.
Do we just call it the Vasari too?
No, please.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not incredibly rusty, actually. It's pretty new.
Wait. Instead of the Millennium Falcon, it's the Centennial Hawk.
No.
Yes, I like it.
How much would a sensors upgrade cost? I'm not saying I'm doing it. I just want to get a price.
It's going to be in the Starships one, I believe. Starship modifications.
Unsinkable 3 sounds like a good name.
Oh gosh.
Oh, you're asking about sensor equipment?
Yeah. It sounds like we're going to need some kind of improved package at some point.
As a basic sensor array, which is 5,000, I guess mid-grade sensor array, which is 25,000, and advanced sensor array, I guess, would be 50,000.
All right, so I'm not worried about that at the moment. What about the anti-personnel that you were talking about?
That is going to be under weapon systems.
Oh no. No.
No. Trading vessel when this is done. We have to have an appropriate trading vessel name.
Okay. I'm just seeing that it just says ×2 as with an auto blaster, so I don't know if that just doubles the cost of what it would be for a personal size equivalent.
Yeah, that's how the add-ons to the comlinks work, because it's a price modifier on the base comlink to get the extra upgrades.
So yeah, I guess it would depend on how heavy of a gun you want. If you're basically strapping an E-web turret under the ship, that would be double that, I guess. And also you have to worry about emplacement points, I believe, in this system, is what they're called. Which dictates how heavily you can modify a vessel. I'm used to playing the Fantasy Flight where they're hard points, but I believe there are emplacement points in this system.
Can you give me like a base price for the simplest to like a price range for the least to the best? I just don't even know if it's in our price range at the moment, but
well, we can deal with that retroactively, and you can figure out the cost. We can be using the Discord for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have to do the whole.
Of course, it seems like everybody's just wanting to make the rest of the session a shopping spree. So
I'm not shopping.
yeah, as far as items people want, we can be figuring that out of game if we want to actually, progress in the storyline and/or character stuffs.
Yeah, because we still haven't figured out where we're going next. I think we had a plan before this session, and but
here's a new hydro spanner.
all right. What about a name? It has to be something that works well as a cargo vessel, but I think we just should also like put a good faith effort into our benefactor here. How about the Hadrian Traveler?
The what now?
We're supposed to be promoting
The Hadrian
way. The Hadrian Traveler. We're supposed to be promoting the Hadrian way, so.
Well, I mean, we can only do so much promotion as people know about us, and I think people will know about us more if we actually go deeper into the investigation between all of the galactic factions instead of, going directly to the Hiding Way route.
Right.
So,
but it's going to be a merchant vessel at some point, and we're going to be traveling the Hadrian way, and she needs to promote the Hadrian way.
Tell you what, I've been sitting on this lead for a little bit, but I could contact the Jedi Council of First Knowledge and try to see who tampered with my file to say that I had been more of a rogue Jedi in the past. And whoever that may be, we could follow up with that and try to hunt them down. Well, when I say hunt, I don't mean in any violent sense of the word, but
we also have the lead of the Mon Calamari ships at Dorne, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think that needs to be priority with the. I think you should contact your contact, but I think we should go and investigate the Mon Calamari thing. It's got multiple things going for it. There's they've been ferrying people. They're saying they got a contact with the Jedi, and they're saying they're biotech specialists, so we could learn more information on what we're dealing with, even if they're not involved. We can talk specifically to specialists in the biotech field.
Well, there's only so much I can get done on my end by contacting the Jedi Council of First Knowledge. We would have to go to Coruscant eventually. That's not to say that we have to do it right away.
We have to go there eventually.
Well, Coruscant is, if you're looking at the map, we're at Brental right now. Coruscant is right down the hyperlane, and then from Coruscant, we can make a shot to Doran.
So, point of fact, Doran is not where the Mon Cal are. They're over more so in their space, trying to get people across the Perlemian. Doran is supposed to be the endpoint of the supposed Giju passage from Etresia / Kitelfard.
I think we
But
need
it's
to
the
go
only-
to Montreal.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if we need to go to Moncal because Moncal's very far off. That's that's close to the outer rim.
Actually, it's even close to ancient Sith space too, if I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, we have to go
Well, we need to investigate with what Jedi they've been in contact with. That seems like a pretty big priority to me. They're
Right.
ferrying people on a route that doesn't exist and claiming that they have Jedi support.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a big rabbit hole. Once we go down it, we may not come back out, but it's an option in case we get stuck.
Well, again, I don't know how much Blake can see this, but we're like here. Coruscant is here. Dorn is here. So we make a
And
down the
where's-
hyperspace lane to Coruscant. Mon Calamari is out here.
I already figured it was. But I have to click the hiring.
No, to get to Mon Cal, we'd basically be taking the Perlemian through most of it, and then we would until we got to if we're following the hyperspace routes, which at this point in galactic history, I think we should be following the hyperspace routes until we got to Cormia, if that's a planet, and then then there's another hyperspace route from Cormia all the way to Mon Calamari. Mon Calamari is at the very end of that hyperspace route, whereas Dorn is much closer and is on our. And after we make Coruscant, is a straight shot from Coruscant. And it's the end point. So from the end point, we can.
I think there's a lot to be learned by going to Moncal, but you're right, it's well out there, and we have other leads that are far closer.
So Coruscant it is for now.
All right. I warned you guys that this might lead us in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I feel when we go to Coruscant, I'm going to change the game.
Well, if it doesn't, we have a backup plan.
Be a lot more. We have a lot. We're going to be very, very vulnerable when we go to Coruscant.
All right.
And when we head to Coruscant, thinking about it, when we go to Coruscant in our ship, that automatically negates our new ship with people not knowing we've changed ships. We don't even get one news out of having a new ship.
Coruscant's also the most dangerous place we're going to. It's where all the potential leaks or enemies that we have are centered. Whether we believe it's the Republic's fault, the Jedi's fault, they're all at Coruscant.
Yeah, it's the biggest danger zone we have, as far as I'm.
So why not
I'm
waste
concerned.
our one chance at anonymity at the most dangerous place that we could possibly go to?
Well, again, let me contact the Council of First Knowledge before we make that decision to go there. Again, there's only so much I can do on my end here, but if there is a reason for us to go based on what message they may send back, then that's something to consider. But we don't have to go now.
As soon as we arrive at Coruscant, they'll know it. They'll know it's us, because that's a very political planet. There's no hiding the fact that who we are as soon as we get there, especially if we're contacting the Jedi Council directly.
Well,
As soon as we get there,
We contact
the
them.
new ship
less involved than you think.
And us contacting them isn't necessarily telling them that we're coming.
Right. And I don't have to tell them we're coming.
And the information that the council gives us, or the Council of First Council of Knowledge gives us, could send us on our way away from Coruscant anyway.
Right.
At this point, I say I've already sent out a feeler about the organic robot things that infected your lightsaber to my university. So people are nowhere looking into at least that. If they're if they've been following us.
I do think that we could gain a lot of information on those creature robot things, whatever they are, by going to the Jedi archives. So I could also search that up while I'm there. But again, we don't have to go now until after we've exhausted the lead that you gave your university.
I haven't heard back from them.
Well, right, until we hear back from them then.
Is there anything else we can do on Brental? Because all we did basically was collect the data that they had from the attack. Is there anything else to be gained here? It seems like we've come an awful long way just to make a show of it.
Well, we know that they jumped in from the core.
Actually, yes, true. They did.
Whether they started in the core, we don't know, but we know they jumped in from the core. And the core is not that easy to navigate, especially at this point in galactic history.
Do we want to talk to any of the boots on the ground, if you would, the people that were directly defending, and see if they recognized any of the tactics used against them that we could correlate with the training of a specific group of people?
Would that not be included in the investigation that the Brentalians handed over to us?
What Zaylon is saying is, if I'm understanding it right, is looking for more of the stories that are popping up rather than the official reports.
Yeah. And then maybe we can, from those first-hand accounts, maybe try to figure out what kind of training these people were given, and if any specific planet or group or entity pops out with training their people that way, would point us in a direction. I just feel like we haven't really done much here other than pick up a data pad. That this is a primary point of the investigation, and we haven't really done much here.
Well, I mean, this is kind of the deciding point where the road forks, you know? Like, obviously, we could go to Mon Calamari if we want. That's kind of the conversation we're having at the moment. We could go to Coruscant now if we want. We could stay here and we could try to gather information from whatever debris is floating around the system. Who knows? It's just, sure, we may not have accomplished much here, but I think gaining a new ship, that's a great first step to getting to where we need. I think it's important that we knew that there were hyperspace disturbances going along the Hydian Way. That's another thing we can investigate. I just think we all need to agree on a course of action, and whatever that may entail. I mean, there's also the deal with going back to Alderaan if we wanted to sort out whatever mess is back there. Really, it's just up in the air at the moment because we seem like we can't decide.
I know one thing for sure. I don't want to be anywhere near 10. I don't want to be within 10 parsecs of Alderaan at this point.
Coruscant it is then.
Yeah.
Alderaan's where all the bad stuff has happened.
Regardless of where we go, we're going to have enemies. Like, sure, it all may be converging on Coruscant, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be attacked outright there. Or, if anything, we go to Mon Calamari, and it's the most remote system in relation to all of this, and that's probably where they're actually operating from. Who knows? Honestly.
Well, Coruscant's also the headquarters of my former employer, Republic Fleet Systems.
Coruscant is the headquarters of just about everything in the galaxy at this point.
Yeah.
The most dangerous place for us, and we're what, still level 2? Are we ready to take on whatever's waiting for us there?
Level 2? Do you think this is a game?
Snap out of it, man.
Slap. I mean, honestly, if you think Coruscant's
lightsaber's not working, are you ready for if there's one there?
What was that?
I mean, your lightsaber's not working. Are you ready for a fight if there's one there?
I have a quarterstaff, yes. And I have the Force.
I was about to say, if they're thinking that Coruscant's the most dangerous place, where's the last place they were thinking that we'll all go right away?
If anything, because I'm out a lightsaber, Coruscant is also the best place to be gaining any sort of replacement parts for that lightsaber. So
Yeah, we can get your leads at the council. We can get my leads in my former employer. So we have 2 routes of investigation going through Coruscant.
specifically, I would have to stay away from the Jedi High Council, but the Council of First Knowledge is what I would be speaking.
You would still have. You're a knight. You still have access to the archives, don't you?
Oh yes, I do.
And Mina, even though Mina's a Padawan, she would have access because that's where she worked.
Right.
What Zaylon's going to ask because he doesn't know. What's this? I'm assuming he doesn't know. What's this Council of First Knowledge?
So the Jedi Order is run by 4 different Jedi councils. The Jedi High Council is often the one that is given the public face. The other 3 run a lot of the day-to-day operations. There's the Council of Reassignment, the Council of First Knowledge, and I'm going to need help on this one. What's the 3rd?
Hold up.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Reconciliation.
Yeah. Reconciliation. So it's basically one is more of a judiciary branch. The other is for assigning roles and duties to people, either through if there's Padawans that don't have masters that need work or what have you. Regardless, the other 2 councils wouldn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things. If anything, if there is corruption within the Jedi Order, it would be at the High Council level and not at the Council of First Knowledge, although access through them is likely what would have happened to alter any sort of important records. Regardless, it's just an option.
So you know someone that's on that council? You said you had a contact there, or you just the contact as being a Jedi?
The Jedi Master that accompanied both me and Mina is currently on the Jedi Council, but yeah, the Jedi High Council. When I say Jedi Council, you just assume the High Council. I mean, given the nature of this investigation,
was she your master when you were a Padawan? There seemed to be something a little bit more there, but
no, she was actually the one that brought me into the Jedi Order. My master goes by Tyvark Danilo. You wouldn't know him.
The hipster Jedi.
But you don't know anyone directly on the First Knowledge Council?
No, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're unapproachable. They will meet with just about anybody.
Okay.
This is another concern I have about you going. You 2 have will be able to get into the temple just fine. What about the rest of us?
I don't. I'm not going in the temple.
And you don't have to. I mean, if anything, if you're concerned about safety, then I think it would be important. This is probably the rare situation where I would actually suggest we split up. It's obviously a very intimidating place, and Mina and I would be the only ones really capable of defending ourselves in case something were to happen. However, again, in the middle of the Jedi Temple is very unlikely that we will ever be attacked.
No one would ever strike at the heart of the Jedi Temple.
Obviously not. It's never happened in the history of the Jedi.
And every time it does, it's usually because they're all fighting. All the skilled ones are all fighting a war somewhere.
Whoa! Shots fired at Master Zalo, but okay.
Hey,
I feel like I could benefit being on Fagrus's team, but at the same time, I feel like I would stay with him.
Well, I would just be going to Republic fleet systems, so you would be in the heart of Imperial Center.
Not Imperial Center.
Which makes me feel like you need backup, but at the same time, I'm not going to be. I feel like something will happen.
Honestly,
I'm definitely not going to the Jedi Academy.
There has to be a point where we trust each other enough that we're comfortable with splitting up and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I am very secure in my thought that the Jedi Temple is a safe place. If anything, I would be more worried about you guys. But that said, if something does happen, we can contact each other.
Yeah, we'll need the long range comm links, which actually don't have enough credits to get us all long range with encryption.
And I have the Force to contact you with as well, and Mina does too.
We can't contact you guys.
Well, then would you rather have Mina accompany one of you two, and then the other comes with me?
Zaylon's not going to come.
I think I'm going to be staying.
Yeah, because I need to go to Republic Fleet Systems because they won't let in. They're not going to just give up data to anyone other than a former employee. Even so, I need to be at Republic Fleet Systems. And Zaylon doesn't want to be there. So unless the council's okay with having a war droid with them,
I think 000 is going with you, and maybe one of the other astronauts are going with you, Favors.
This is that mind puzzle where you have the fox, what is it, like the fox, the chicken, and the bag of grain on one side of the river, and you have to figure out how to get them all to the other side. Anyway,
I was in a at a game. I was in a party once where we had to go down a river, and we had a party of 6. We had 2 canoes that could hold 3 people in them, and it was a 3-hour argument over who went on which canoes and the exact seating order of the people on the canoes.
oh my!
Oh boy!
Like I said, I'm going to the Jedi Temple. You're not going to come with me.
Long story short, you guys are aboard the vessel, whatever you agree on naming it, and you.
Are we going to Coruscant? Is that what we're agreeing on?
I think Coruscant's
I think we're going to Coruscant.
Okay.
Yes. I would like to get the comms before, but we can do that off.
Yeah, I think we can just assume that we bought them at this point.
Yeah. Wait.
Okay.
While you're out securing the ship. Yeah. Because you didn't just go point at the ship and be like, okay, we're going to take it, and just immediately board and fly out. Lady Kalia had to clear everything. The whole process actually would take probably most of the rest of the day, and you would have ample time to acquire your secure encrypted comm links.
Well, there's the problem with that, because there's the long-range comm links, which are 250 credits each. That gives us 200 kilometers or high orbit. There's a normal comm link, which only gives us 40 kilometers and low orbit. The problem with the long-range comm links is that they require a backpack in order to use. Now, you can get a wristcom one for double the price. You can like as a wristwatch, but the encryption is 10 times the price on top of that. So to get long-range wrist comms with encryption is 5,000 credits each. I only have enough to get 3 of those. Not even 3 of those. 3 of those would be including if I could finagle something to upgrade my current wrist comm.
Let's not spend everything without upgrading the ship.
Well, this isn't the 8,600 I have set aside for the ship. This is just my own personal funds. To get us all long-range encrypted wrist comms, I would need an additional 10,275 in order to outfit us all with that. Or I can get us all long-range comm links, but they won't be wrist comms, so you'll have to wear essentially a backpack with the comm.
I think we can figure this out between session.
If you like, and we can retroactively say this is what you purchased, this is what you now have at the start of next session.
Okay.
Yeah, if anything, I don't need it. I'm probably going to regularly set up telepathic links to each of you anyway. I mean, it's just generic, either one-word things like danger or come, or, but if anything, like if you need me to be there, and I set up the connection to you, then you can still contact me. And then I can probably try my best to show up.
All right. Well, I guess we'll figure all that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're heading to Coruscant.
All right. As you guys board your vessel and are making your departure from atmosphere, you are hailed briefly by Lady Kalea, who's thank you once again all for taking this under your numerous already undertakings, and well, of course, may the force be with you. I hope
Is
I'm
this
saying that right.
only, or is it video as well?
May the force be with you.
She would have like the
Is
actual
this
hologram.
I bow. It was a pleasure meeting you, my lady.
And you as well. And then you are cleared for departure by orbital control. You do note, like as you're passing all of the different queues, the numerous rows upon rows of civilian colonist vessels in orbit, you can just kind of feel the stink eye of everybody watching you freely come and go from the planet. But you do manage to set yourself up on the heading for Coruscant. If anyone wants to roll astrogation for that, it's going to be fairly easy. Major hyperlane to the center of the galaxy, basically.
Why do you got to say it's easy? Then I roll a 5.
Did you hit a 10?
Well, yeah, both my physical science and my computer are 11.
Okay, you're fine.
And I'll be rolling the pilot, I assume.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, it's not too incredibly difficult as you guys shoot off through hyperspace. The crew who have stayed on, and the droids, find their various places to stash themselves, and you guys are on your way to Coruscant.
All right. On the trip, I would like to use the HoloNet and try to research any ways of blocking Jedi mental intrusion.
Oh
Go for
gosh.
it.
You need like really special military training.
What would I roll for that?
Computers isn't a thing. Gather
Use
information.
computer? No? Gather information.
Yep.
Yeah.
Natural 20 for 27.
All right. You know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you need intense mental conditioning, probably over years, to try to be able to block Jedi influence.
Just think about Pazak.
That's what I was doing.
Can Mina, because she's still Padawan and, testing out all this, can she set up a telepathic connection to Zaylon to just say, hi?
Yep.
Oh, that's so.
Zaylon just leaves. Zaylon jumps out the airlock.
On the trip, I would also like to go over with the other members of the crew of what other languages do you speak that aren't basic? So we could have in the interest of if we ever are in another situation where we have unsafe ears, we can talk a little more securely.
Right. The gruff Arcanians just have their arms folded, leaning against whatever bulkhead you find them at. Look to each other. Just basic.
I asked them in Arcanian. How do you not speak Arcanian? How do you not even know your own language? How do I know your language and you don't?
Hence the smile. They know exactly what you said. It's like, if somebody's like, habla español, and you just, nope. And yeah, just plain and stupid. I guess Takrira, the head mechanic, would inform you, I speak a number of local dialects. Have you been to Doran?
Doran? Not, unfortunately.
I do not
The,
take offense. I have not been to the clock doors either.
Yeah, unfortunately, hydrogen masks in Bith size are a little bit difficult to come by.
Understandable. Wearing a breathing apparatus all the time can be rather tiresome. Am I to understand that Dorn could be a potential heading of ours?
It could, if our investigation leads there.
Understood. I understand the decision is up to the official members of this task force as well as the captain, but I would appreciate it.
Where is Doran?
Well, would he appreciate going there or not going there or being part of the decision to go there? Or what was he saying?
To clear your Keldor mechanic, she's saying that, if we could go back to Keldor, to Doran at some point, it would be enjoyable.
Oh, she wants to stop by her world if we're close to it. Okay.
Doran. Where is Doran?
You just had it on the map. It's over way galactic west.
Oh, by Moncal.
No.
Oh, Galactic West. I'm
Yeah.
thinking east.
Left.
Way galactic west in the expansion region.
So my video cut out. Did Mina successfully use telepathy with me?
Oh, I guess, technically you have to use the Force.
Yes. Let me actually do that because I didn't actually do that.
Yeah.
My will defense is 17.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got a 21.
Yeah. You feel as though you are greeted in your own mind, Zaylon.
Oh, yeah.
Get rid of these Jedi somehow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, if you take an automatic 10, just add your bonus to 10 for your use the force check.
Which would have done the same thing.
It's literally impossible for me to block this. Okay.
How
Just get used to
dare they
having-
say hello?
How
Because
dare
maybe
these
we should
altruistic?
We
How
do-
dare these altruistic beings care about me?
All right. So you guys have about a day in your travel to Coruscant. Is there anything any of you wish to do while in transit?
I'll talk to Mina.
Hi.
Hi. So, I mean, despite the two of us being on the same ship going from Coruscant to Alderaan, I don't know anything about you. You're a Padawan?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in the archives. Sort of not good around other people.
That's surprising they put you on the task force then.
Yeah, my master, she pretty much told me to do this or else.
Or else. Or
Yeah.
else.
She's Master Lurgo is just a little bit annoyed that I would rather stay in the archives than try to do the trials.
How old are you?
23.
And you still haven't undertaken the trials. That's a little bit of a surprise to me.
I'm really comfortable in the archives.
I mean, it's definitely not a bad thing. You haven't made your own lightsaber yet.
No, I haven't.
That's typically one of the hallmarks of being able to progress within the Jedi Order.
I'm feeling the more I'm out here, the more I need to get out of my comfort zone.
So, I mean, despite you having an official master, I could help teach you.
I'd like that very much.
Tell you what, the next time that you have a question, you can come to me. And I'll check in periodically about your progress. How's that?
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
Okay.
I'm also going to ask other party members.
Zaylon's just going to orient himself with this new ship, trying to learn it inside and out.
I'm going to speak with other party members about any other languages they speak. If we need to have covert conversations where we might not be where we're a little more secure from people overhearing.
Okay. Are you wanting to roleplay that, or do we just want to ask out of game, what languages does everyone speak?
I don't have a preference.
Okay, so we'll meet in the middle. Say that you guys are able to convene in the ship conference room, and Phaedrus puts forth the question.
Phaedrus, you're going to be disappointed in me.
I'm familiar with all computer languages, but that's about it.
Binary?
Yep.
I only speak basic. I don't know binary.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm just basic.
Zaylon, are you familiar with Mon Calamari Blink code? Or the concept of it?
Am I game master? I doubt it.
Uh,
I did have a Quorin on ship. She might have told me some of it. I don't know.
so you would probably at least be aware of it, but probably not of the intricacies.
You know how it works, right?
Do I? I don't know
Well,
much about
I could explain this. Mon Calamari, they have a blink code where they have two types of blinks, a quick blink and a long blink. Well, even though you don't speak Mon Calamari blink code, we could do a similar thing with binary, using a 0 for a short blink and and ones for a long blink, or since I'm a Bith and I can't be, a simple tap. That way we can surreptitiously speak to each other in binary using a pseudo blink code.
Our Bith Lord has invented Morse code. That's canon.
and ways, but the Jedi, I would think, would not be aware of, but they don't know that doesn't work with them. But they have telepathy.
Well, it won't matter for us. We can establish telepathic links. We'll be okay.
Yeah,
Right, and if I bet after having this conversation, if they ever see us at a table, like, just passively like hitting our fingers on like a table or something, they'll figure out what's happening.
Tell you what, I can ask each of you in your mind, okay? And you can respond in your mind, yes or no. I mean, honestly,
Binary response.
yeah, exactly. It's either, yes, I'm okay, or no, I'm not okay. And then we can figure things out.
Well, if you line if he's okay, and then you're doing it in his head, the answer is always he's not okay.
Then we're going to have to find a reasonable solution for you to get over that fear.
Immersion therapy.
Yeah.
Humans.
Humans? I'm sorry, we can't all be bald with gigantic brains that explode at certain frequencies.
There's a lot of frequencies on Coruscant.
Oh, you don't trust me. You don't want to go to Nar Shaddaa if you're a Bith.
Been there twice. Not a pleasant place.
Decay and desperate living.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if the person that I know personally, if he had any sort of say in this conversation, then he'd want us to drop out of the Nar Shaddaa Red Sector right now and get lost.
Well, you're going the wrong way for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly on the opposite side of the galaxy that we need to be in. Anyway,
We will need breather masks if we do go to Doran. So I guess it's good we're stopping off at Coruscant.
yeah, I have not mastered breath control quite yet, so rebreathers would be great.
The temple has them, don't they?
I'll have to check, but we do have a lot of utilities.
They wouldn't miss, say, 4 sets.
Well, I can only get away with what they're going to allow me to get away with, and they do also need to report any inquiries as to why I need.
They are aware you're on this task force, and I would assume since they are taking part in this task force, they would allow you whatever you need for the task force.
They aren't taking part in the task force. They're performing their own investigation.
But if you were to say go to the temple and put forth that as part of the task force you were required to go to Doran and would be in need of breathing apparatuses for yourself, the Padawan, and the 2 organic and the crew members of the ship.
I'm not saying it's a problem. I mean, if anything, they'll probably be more than happy to give us something to aid us, but I can't ask them for everything under the sun. Because, I mean, obviously, I mean, we do try to help each other out on missions, but, I mean, there comes to be a point where greed does get in the way.
It'd also be a good way of testing the Jedi for if we they know we're going to Doran, and if we get any funny business at Doran that's possibly linked to the Jedi, either to eliminate them as a potential source of more leaks or confirm that maybe we don't entirely trust at least someone in the Order, similar to what happened with our Alderaanian friends.
Or I could just simply tell them that I'm going to need the rebreathers and not give them the location that I'm going to be using them in. Or give them a false location. If anything, I can get away with whatever you need me to get away with. I mean, I've been living in the temple for most of my life anyway.
Well, I guess you'll be the one there, so whatever whatever you feel you can get away with.
Anyway.
All right. You want to have anything else, or shall we?
No, I was just going to ask if anybody had anything else.
Okay. We're going to sidewipe as we find you emerging from hyperspace. I guess merge Cass's background and mine, and you get something approximate. And yeah, you are brought into Coruscant. You are very quickly cleared for landing. You do note that there are quite a few colonist vessels making their approach here as well, but since you are you have the right I guess hailing codes, having come from another core world, your flight path doesn't indicate that you're going to be heading deeper north. Yeah, galactic north. So it doesn't take too long before you are cleared for landing. There are fewer colonist vessels here, sort of stuck, awaiting clearance for landing or clearance to travel onward. But you do note that it does seem like the people, some people on the holonet have been chattering about. There is some hypocrisy going on where Coruscant is telling the Axis worlds, hey, why aren't you letting the colonists head into the borderlands when the ones that have been funneled all the way down here to Coruscant are also somewhat being stymied? And you do know from reports that even trying to circumvent and head southward deeper into the core and kind of skirt around Coruscant doesn't work either, because there are Republic vessels between Coruscant and Empress Tita closing off that gateway as well. But you make your way down to a landing pad on Coruscant. Is there a specific point on the top level that you're trying to reach, or where where are you attempting to land?
Well, I guess half of us need to go to the Jedi Temple. The other half of us need to go to Republic Fleet Systems headquarters. So somewhere that is close to one and or both of those.
All right. So
I mean, Zaylon doesn't want to go to either location. He can be on the ship and just shuttle us around if we need it.
Yeah, and I want is it Fagris, you're gonna take Fusion Cutter with you. Not only is he assigned to 000, but he's the one that I'm most comfortable with. If you run into trouble, he can help you with it the most.
So I guess you just take the ship, you drop them off at the temple, and me off at Republic Fleet Systems, and then we keep in touch.
Yeah.
okay.
Do I
The
want
rest of the crew.
Zero's going with you, Fagris?
What?
Are we assuming that 000 is going with you?
Does he want to go with him?
Yeah, unless we find out otherwise next time.
Yeah.
But Zaylon, the crew does look to you and inquire where you are wanting them to be stationed. If you want them still on the ship with you, or what?
Yeah, remain with me. I got a bad feeling that something's going to happen here. Could be completely off kilter, but I think we need to be ready at the ship.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. After only a few minutes, you're able to make the appropriate stops and drop-offs to get your teammates on whatever public transport they need to press onward towards the temple or their elsewhere destination.
So a 17 on my stealth check to once again conceal my holdout blaster.
Noted. In the interest of certain things, Cassis and Mina, you guys are both heading toward the temple?
We would like to.
Yes.
Okay. You rather easily secure public transport and find yourselves outside the grandiose pyramid-like steps to the front of the temple and make your approach. There are numerous Jedi, Padawans, learners, scholars, what have you, milling about their duties, making your way inside. Are you heading towards the where are they stationed? I guess, yeah, it would just be in the temple archives.
I think I might want to go check in with the Jedi artisans first, and see if I can gain some lightsaber parts to reconfigure my lightsaber. I mean, obviously, I don't have a lightsaber crystal, so whatever it is, it's going to be.
That's kind of the response you get actually as you go you approach them, and they're tinkering with various different materials from numerous different systems, worlds, asteroids, planets, and you come in and you start asking about if you might be able to secure some materials, and the foremost artisan respectfully informs you, firstly, we would need clearance from preferably a master of the order, and well, to be frank, if you've lost your Jedi weapon,
no, I haven't lost it at all, and then I'll just unhook it and show him. But it's been, what's the proper word? Eaten?
I suppose that will be in whatever.
I open it up.
But if you are supposed to be rebuilding it, recovering appropriate components should be part of the process to help you form a better attachment to the finished product.
I understand. I have two more questions. One may actually interest you quite a bit. And I'm gonna reach into my robe and pull out the green crystal that I had. It appears that this lightsaber crystal's been corrupted in some way. I don't know exactly what the little beings were that ate the insides of my lightsaber, but it seems to also have tainted the crystal in some way. I was wondering if you had any idea of what might have happened.
just carefully takes it. It will require further inspection.
I'll let you hold on to it. I'm okay with that. And I'll give you my hollow frequency as well.
Understood. I will get to it in due course. I have other duties that may take precedence, but
Take as much time as you need. It's not too much of a pressing matter at the moment. I'm just curious.
very well. Gives you a respectful but dismissive bow.
Okay. Also, is there a way for me to procure not one but two lightsabers with the training cathracite crystals in them, the training lightsabers? The one that the same type that Mina would have been using.
Right.
So it wouldn't be the full-fledged lightsaber.
So here's the thing. You would know yes, but there's going to be, the paper trail for that. So
Honestly, just having a better weapon than a quarterstaff, I'm okay with the paper trail, to be quite frank.
all right, you can definitely requisition some training sabers, which are very quickly supplied to you. So you can have those.
What colors would they be?
I suppose you can tell me.
I mean, I personally don't care.
Me neither.
Okay, you got.
I like red. That's my favorite color. But I mean, people
I don't-
like that color on a Jedi.
It's gonna
So
be a yellow one and a blue one.
okay. So yeah, I'll just I'll toss one to Mina.
I'll take the blue one then.
All right. So let's see. Why don't we cut away to Phagris for a little bit?
Okay. Phagris, what are you up to?
I am making my way downtown, walking fast to the Public Fleet Systems headquarters.
Okay.
And how do I play this? I guess I go to the reception desk of it. Shoot, how do I play this?
Pumpernickel. Pumpernickel.
It's been like nearly 30 years since I worked here, so I doubt I recognize the receptionist.
No, some young kid you don't know.
Shoot, I got nothing. I guess what I would like to like to get access on some information on the do I myself the let's go with that. I go to the receptionist. Hello, I am with the whatever the name of our thing that they've given us in the investigation into the attack at Alderaan.
Task Force Rationale.
Task Force Rationale, and we wanted to make an inquiry into some of the dealings with and some of the dealings of Republic Fleet Systems over the past few years. If you could direct me to whomever it is I need to speak to, that would be wonderful.
Okay. The young kid at the front desk just nods and she says, very well. And she takes the request data and starts plugging it in. And after a few moments of this, she just, apologies, ma'am. There appears to be some sort of clearance requirement. Do you have the appropriate codes?
would I know of these codes? Knowledge bureaucracy?
Yeah, go for it.
That's a modified 20.
Okay. What specifically were you asking for again?
So I am asking for contracts and financial statements within the last, let's say, 5 years. Specifically, I'm looking for anything that would match the description of the ships that I'd helped make nearly 3 decades ago, or in like the contracts or in the financial statements, looking for anything that would be indicative of the like whatever raw materials or like subcontracted parts that would be required if they were to make that ship again.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. As the attendant is informing you of this, you don't know of any specific clearance codes that you might need, like that might require you to have acknowledged association with those specific blueprints, and just as you're kind of getting a sinking feeling, there's like the hiss of a from a nearby lift, and you just hear a familiar voice. Ah, it's good that you've returned, Fegris.
Ah, yes. Whoever this is.
This is in fact Lugrar. Is a senator from Wustri, and yeah, you recall how you suspect he might have been involved in the events that led to your early retirement, but he simply stands there, just arms sort of half wide, not like he's expecting an embrace, but seems to be generally accepting bearing, but steps forward and clasps your hand. I think we will have much to discuss.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Well,
It's been so long.
we're actually going to sidewipe as Cassis and Mina. Were you at this point making your way to the archives, or?
I would go to the council chamber first, but that would be located above the section that houses the archives, yeah.
Okay. So actually, as you are heading there, Mina, you feel a familiar presence in the Force. And without even her remarking or hailing you or anything, you turn and find that your master, Kuna Lurgo, is standing there just at a corner of the hallway that you're traveling, and is just smiling over you patiently, waiting for you to acknowledge her.
Master Lurgo. I'm going to turn to Cassius.
I'm going to bow as well.
I have a feeling I will talk to you later.
Oh. Well, if you think that is wise.
It might be at this point.
I will need to reconvene with you, however. Let me know if you need anything from me in the meantime. And then I guess we part ways.
All right.
Master, it's been a while.
Oh, not incredibly long, and it's, well, probably seems more of an ordeal to you, having been probably the first time you departed Coruscant for a number of years. And I don't entirely blame you for that, to be clear, but let's take a walk.
Okay. I mean, it's starting to follow.
Okay.
This is gonna end so badly.
I know.
This is all.
Split the party, guys.
Was triple zero there when I explained how we can turn binary into Morse code?
As Zaylon aboard the
The Centennial Hawk.
no
The to be named.
yes
Yeah.
the TBD
The TB.
you are you still kind of
On guard and watching the perimeter, yes.
okay? But have you landed at this point, or are you kind of coasting about the city?
I guess I thought the Jedi had their own landing pad for small vessels, but we didn't land there apparently. And we didn't. And I thought Republic systems fleets would have their own landing pad, but apparently we didn't land there either. So
Well,
I guess
my understanding was you were dropping them off so they could continue on their own.
I don't know. I mean, whatever was convenient. Did I go back to orbit, or am I
Well,
where I dropped favors off, or?
we had talked about before that in the two places we're going, the potentially more dangerous place would be Republic fleet systems.
I don't know, but whatever seemed convenient to me. If I stayed where I landed with favors, or I wanted to orbit, or whatever,
Okay.
low orbit or whatever.
Well, okay. We'll say that you have found a landing pad that was currently unoccupied. Kind of not the actual fleet systems landing pad, but kind of a third party, kind of a like an arcade sort of landing pad where you can kind of pay for every few minutes or / hour you're there. Like the parking meter setup essentially, like equivalent of spaceships street parking. But as you're parked there, you do hear from your head mechanic. Just calls up to you through the.
Yay.
Hello.
And I'm going to be over there in a couple of weeks.
Sorry, I lost you there. Where did I hear from my head mechanic?
Yeah, Takura is calling up to you. Captain, there are some peculiar droids approaching.
Oh boy. How close?
They are on some sort of skiff heading for the landing pad.
They're on a skiff. All right, I take off and head to low orbit. No skiff's going into orbit.
Okay. After a few seconds of rising up through the atmosphere, Captain, they're following.
That's fine. They can't power us into orbit. It's a skiff.
All right.
Split the party, they said. It'll be fine, they said.
Cassis, you start heading in towards the Jedi Temple, the council chamber.
Yes, or at least into the spire, or the access to the spire at that point.
Okay. Okay. What do you do?
Thanks for rolling the dice and giving me a heart attack. I get in the elevator, or the turbo lift, rather, and I'll ascend the council chamber and alert whoever might be there that I would like to speak with the caretaker.
Okay. As you're riding in a lift, it does come to a stop partway up, and as the door hisses open, a rather tall, pale, red-skinned humanoid woman just strides quickly into the lift, closes the door, and just sort of does the Jedi thing, hiding the hands in the robe sleeves, and without even looking towards you, just whispers, "I think we should discuss your permanent record."
Dun dun dun.
And that's what we're
Fade
going
to
to do next time.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I mean. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
All right, that's where we're going to pick it up next time.
Cool.
We have not screwed us over, not at all.
I said we're going to be over our heads here, but
It'll be fine.
This will
We
be
knew-
fun.
I just wanted to orbit where Skip can't follow. But then I got to find a way to get back down the rest of all of you.
Look, it's okay. We were, me and this guy, we used to be friends. We're not anymore, but we used to be friends.
It's like when
I
you
mean,
meet an old friend who's
I'm only talking to a Sith half-blood who happens to be a Jedi Master and the caretaker of first knowledge.
yeah. Anyway, so we'll see where the adventure takes us next time. As now we're on Coruscant, folks. Things will get intriguey real fast.
It is my favorite planet of all time in Star Wars.
It'd be great.
Everything happens. Everything.
All right. May the Force be with you all, because maybe I'll try that as a sign off.